Welcome to the X Factor GNCC. We're out here for round number 6 of the 2017 AMSOIL GNCC Racing Series presented by Maxxis, an AMA National Championship. We're here in Peru, Indiana to see if the best off-road racers can stop Caleb Russell from yet another win. Now let's take it down to the starting line with Rodney Tomlin.
Thank you very much, Mikey, and here we are down on the starting line for this, the inaugural running of the AMSOIL X Factor GNCC, and we're about ready to meet our starting lineup here in just a couple of moments, but I am under the understanding that Jeff Russell, our trail boss, has a couple of words that he wants to pass along to the racers right now. So as soon as we get Jeff down here in just a few moments, we will get those words passed along. But I can tell you right now, folks, that we are looking at a rather historic weekend here as far as the X Factor GNCC is concerned, with yesterday's win by Johnny Gallagher and the first 23 seasons that we have seen him racing the XC1 Pro class. Will we have the opportunity to see him take his first ever win here yesterday and today? What kind of wild and crazy things are held for us in the cards and in the records books as far as that goes, because when you look at the grand scheme of things, we've got all stuff going on like normal for several of the front rows, but when you get further back into it, it's a lot different out there, as we've got all of our classes from today's racing, riders from this morning's 10 o'clock race and this afternoon that have been all staged together here this afternoon for this X Factor GNCC. And from what I understand, we are good to go now. Jeff has already taken care of the things that he needs to take care of. And now it is time to meet our starting lineup for the AMSOIL X Factor GNCC. Rolling to the line first today, aboard the number 1. He is a 4-time GNCC champion out of Boonville, North Carolina, on an FMF KTM racing back machine, Caleb Russell. Rolling to the line today, second in points, aboard the number 514. He had the season opening win and has finished on the podium, coming from behind every round since this season from Belton, South Carolina, on the KTM SRT KTM, Stu Baylor. Rolling to the line third today in points, aboard the number 989 from Williamstown, West Virginia, in search of his first win of 2017 on a Rockstar Energy Factory Husqvarna Team Racing Machine, Bad Thad Duvall. Rolling to the line next from the West Coast, on board the number 212 out of Duval, Washington. Riding aboard the Infab and Pro Yamaha, he's rough, he's rowdy, Ricky Russell. Rolling to the line next today, fifth in points. He is your top classing XC1 Pro Class rookie this season. Riding aboard the number 5 from Morganton, North Carolina, on a JCR-backed Honda, Trevor Bollinger. Rolling to the line next, up sixth in points, aboard the number 4 from Cookeville, Tennessee, on a Beta USA Beta motorcycle, Jordan Ashburn. Next to the line, he is seventh in points, aboard the 113, the multi-time national enduro champion from Jefferson, Georgia, on an FMF KTM Factory Racing KTM, Russell Bobbitt. Rolling to the line next, he is eighth in points, aboard the number 314 from Belton, South Carolina, on a Rocky Mountain ATVMC KR4 Husqvarna, Grant Baylor. Rolling to the line next, aboard the 114 from Australia, on a Rockstar Energy Husqvarna backed by Bell Ray Helmets and Oils, it is Josh Strang. aboard the number 984 from Crown Point, Indiana. He rides aboard the RPM KTM, Indiana's own Chris Bach. Rolling to the line next aboard the 323 from Wellington, Ohio. On board his Husqvarna, Scott Grills. Rolling to the line next today aboard the number 269 from Canada on a KTM Canada Recluse Canada FMF KTM, Philip Cheney. And rolling to the line next aboard the number 264, hailing from Ekron, Kentucky. He rides aboard a Coastal Racing Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. He was the first American overall ISDE champion, Ryan Sipes. And last, and certainly not least, riding aboard the number 19 from Bonnyman, Kentucky on a Honda Prestonsburg Litz Racing Metzler-backed Honda, Vance Francis. And that is your starting lineup for this AMSOIL X Factor GNCC, round number 6 of the AMSOIL GNCC series presented by Maxxis. And folks, let me tell you, the stage is set. Rarely do we and have we seen in history since the amateur novice classes have been split from the A and B classes, see them run together. It has happened only a handful of times over the history of GNCC in recent years. And of course, the reason today, track conditions warranting that, with rain showers on Thursday night coming in all day on Friday and throughout the day and night on Friday night and through Saturday morning and through Saturday yesterday. Throughout last night, we received more rain showers. We woke up this morning to a rather muggy morning, a little bit of a mist coming through and some sprinkles, but then things kind of cooled down as the wind picked up. And now we are faced with what some have deemed quite possibly some of the toughest conditions we have been faced with in recent years of GNCC racing. Talking to many of the old school GNCCers, they'll tell you we've seen it a lot worse, but at the same time, a lot of these folks are telling us it could get bad out there. The woods could see some deep ruts developing as there's lots of topsoil, and they say not a lot of bottom out there. Time will tell the story as this 2-hour racing extravaganza is now less than 1 minute away from getting underway, as Ricky Towery has signaled to these riders on the starting line that we are a minute away. And now the next cue we get from Ricky Towery will be that blue flag. That will be the dead engine call. That will also signal 30 seconds before the start of this race. As that blue flag waves, shut them down, guys, shut them down, shut them down, shut them down, shut them down. It's about time to go racing here at X Factor Whitetails. And as we get set to go racing here in the great state of Indiana for the first time in 2017, I got to ask you, Indiana race fans, are you ready to go GNCC racing? Yeah, it's a light crowd, but you guys sound a little unenthusiastic. So I'm going to give you one more chance to pump these guys up, man. We've got all the C classes, all the B classes, all the A classes, the WXC, the XC3, the XC2, and the XC1 all ready to take to this track. So I'm going to ask you one more time, Indiana. Are you ready to go GNCC racing? 10 seconds. And row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at the AMSOIL X Factor GNCC. And they're off. Kick starts down. Electric starters on around the first turn. The drag race to $250, and Ricky Russell will take it. Ryan Sipes, though, there to try to steal the early lead, and Sipes will take over the lead. 2 down here before the second turn. The number 1 of Caleb Russell and the number 5 of Trevor Bollinger starting their day out wrong. Caleb Russell in dead last. Can he do what Johnny Gallagher did yesterday from last place to first place? XC2 250 Pro class coming up next. Craig DeLong, Benjamin Kelly, Jesse Grom, Sam Evans, Zach Hayes, Dylan Rash, Braxton McGee, Nathan Thornhill, Austin Lee, Josh Toad, looking at Brendan Riordan, Mike Witkowski. 10 seconds. Drew Higgins, Jasper Morganson, Dylan McRitchie, Jake Froman, Ryan Francis, Lane Michael, Tristan Landrum, Zach Nolan, Chris Vendetti, Justin Jones, and Trevor Barrett. $100 whole shot award up for grabs as these riders round that first turn. They dive into turn number 2, and it's going to be the 721 of Zach Nolan. Nolan out of Masontown, West Virginia, taking the early lead here today in Indiana. Down to our FMF XC3, row number 3, Jack Edmondson here from England, Jason Thomas as well from Wales, Josh Jenkins, Dustin Gibson, Mark Koretsku, Matthew Sims, David Quillen, Hunter North, and Jaron Williams, all ready to roll in 10 seconds. FMF XC3 are off and rolling here in Indiana. Conditions are starting to shape up, it looks like, here in the open fields as the 125 of Jason Thomas out of Wales, England, will take the early lead. Up next, we've got multiple classes off the same rows. It's going to be hard to give you the names of all these riders, so we'll let you know what classes are rolling multiply at the same time out here. Open A, 250A, 200A, ready, 4-stroke A lights, ready to roll. 10 seconds. So that was Open A and 250A. Up next is 4-stroke A, 200A, and Sportsman's A. Next row ready to roll. This is row number 5. Again, 4-stroke A, 200A, and Sportsman's A. Waiting on Ricky Towery's cue. Telling this rider, move him out of the way, buddy. We're about ready to start this next one. Ricky readies these riders and lets them know it's time to go. In a matter of 10 seconds. And they work it through the first turn as we move to our next row. Our other feature class of the day, the WXC Women's Cross Country, featuring your champion, Becca Sheets, Rachel Goodish, Natasha LaChapelle, Tracy Pickens, Kendall LaFollette, Brooke Costa, and Australia's Mackenzie Tricker, ready to roll. No Taylor Jones here with us today. Talked to her a little bit ago. Having some issues heading into this weekend, electing to sit this race out. We'll be back next weekend in Ohio. All ready to roll next. The WXC in 10 seconds. And the women's class, the WXC, off and rolling. And trying to sort this one out, that may be Tricker. 828 Mackenzie Tricker, the young lady out of Australia, grabbing the early lead in the WXC class as we go to the Junior AB 25+ class here, along with some of our other classes, which include Senior A and Vet A in 10 seconds. And they're off. Row number 7. Get this one sorted out through the first few turns. Row number 8 readying themselves next. Set to go will be the Super Senior A, the Super Senior B, the Masters A, and the Masters B. Once again, Super Senior A, Super Senior B, Masters A, and Masters B. Ready to roll on Ricky Towery's cue as he readies these riders and lets them know their time to go. GNCC Racing is in 10 seconds. Up next, row number 9. Row number 9, Silver Masters A, Silver Masters B, Golden Masters, and Elite Masters. Getting ready to roll on row number 9. Masters A, Silver Masters B, Golden Masters, and Elite Masters. Again, due to conditions, it was elected to run both the morning and the afternoon race together here this afternoon. 10 seconds. The true diehards ready to roll out here at the X Factor. Well, as we continue here, I believe that would have been our row 9, row 10, Open B, Senior B, and 4-stroke B ready to roll next as the blue flags are out. Seconds. And the Open B, Senior B, and 4-stroke B are off and rolling here in Indiana now. As we go to row 11, 250B, 200B, Vet B, and Sportsman's B. And I hope I'm on the right track right here. So right now, Ricky Towery signaling our next row, letting them know it's about time to go as well as they are set to roll in 10 seconds. $250B, $200B, Vet B, and Sportsman's B off and rolling. I believe up next will be the 125 BC, row number 12, Women B, Open C Junior, and 250C College. If I haven't lost track. A little different face of the race today, folks, with the addition of combining both 10 and in the 1 o'clock races rolling together here this afternoon in 10 seconds. I believe the 125 BC, Women B, Open C Junior, 250C College. Thank you all for making your way on to RacerTV.com. For those of you that couldn't or didn't make it out this weekend, I think that you may be a little disappointed when it's all said and done. As we got the 812 out there, so row 13, 200C Schoolboy, Master C, Open C College, and 250C Junior set to roll. Nearing the completion of our racing action today. Starting action and only beginning the racing action as we get set to roll next in 10 seconds. And the kickstarts are down on this one. Some 409 competitors on the racetrack here this afternoon, so you have to think that it is certainly going to make for an interesting scenario shaping up out there on that racetrack. And I believe this might be our last row with the Bet C, 4-stroke C, Super Bet, 250C Schoolboy, 200C, and Trail Rider. Or no, there's two more rows. Women C, Senior C, Super Senior C, ready to roll next, if I'm not mistaken, in 10 seconds. I believe this is row 14 rolling next. And that's exactly what it is. Women's C, Senior C, Super Senior C. Tackling turn number 1 now. And now, last and certainly not least, row 15, the Vet C, the 4-stroke C, the Super Vet, the 250C Schoolboy, 200C, and Trail Riders all set to roll next as Ricky Towery waits for row 14, one of the larger rows that we've had out here this morning. Ricky waiting right now for the optimal time to begin this next battle. As he sorts it all out, he looks down to the starting line and lets those riders know 10 seconds for row 15. Our final start of the afternoon here at the X Factor GNCC. And that, my friends, is going to wrap things up here. Oh, we got riders going down. You know, for the most part, I got to say I'm pretty impressed with how well folks were able to keep it up under the circumstances. Things are starting to tack up. The wind is blowing a little bit. There is starting to be some sunshine. That could spell bad news, though, because that could stir up another storm, and who knows what the rest of the afternoon is going to bring. But I tell you, folks, the one thing you're not going to want to do is go anywhere. Stick around. RacerTV.com's GNCC Live continues after this.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of dirt bike lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
As riders and racers, we understand the need to get quality parts, apparel, and accessories fast. We have the horsepower of multiple warehouses to make sure your gear, OEM parts, or accessories make it to your door quickly. Check out our easy-to-use website and experience customer service that takes the whole shot. RockyMountain8VMC.com. Get ready.
Are you looking for a dirt bike piston that can increase power and decrease blow-by? Then check out Wiseco's all-new Racer Elite piston line. Racer Elite has been used exclusively by the pros, including RCH, Yoshimura, Suzuki Factory Racing, and are now accessible to the public. Available for popular 250 and 450cc dirt bikes, the Racer Elite series is the first off-the-shelf asymmetrical power sports piston ever made. Its fully machined billet aluminum construction features an exclusive custom lap top ring. Step up with dyno-proven power gains with Wiseco's Racer Elite piston line.
GNCC, welcome back to GNCC Live. I'm Mikey Waynes. I'll be joined in a moment with Rodney Tomlin, and we think Johnny Gallagher. I'm not positive, haven't gotten confirmation on that. Johnny G normally with us, but he had a huge win yesterday, so not sure if he's going to be here or not. Hopefully he is. We'd love to have him in the booth today, but if not, maybe not. So that's all right. We'll keep you posted on that if Johnny G comes in the house. Hopefully he does. Hey, what you've missed so far, I think in just a second we're going to take a look at a highlight, and we're coming into it now. So this should be the GNCC Live Rapid Replay here in just a second. So taking a look here, again, it was Ricky Russell out of the gate. Ryan Sipes is our leader right now. Let me see, and they're all coming through pretty fast. I think the biggest thing to take away from this start, we've got Caleb Russell running last place out there off the start. That is an area or a position we have not seen Caleb Russell in this season. So again, our leader out there, Ryan Sipes. Ricky Russell, he got the whole shot, and I think he was running second out there, and I didn't quite catch who was running third.
But that is kind of where we stand right now. Again, the big story, Caleb Russell last off the line. Is that going to, affect him today? It didn't affect Johnny G yesterday, so maybe we're going to have another storybook race here today as the riders make their way through. And you can see, if you didn't tune in yesterday, and I got a feeling we're going to have a lot of people watching, all the classes are running together to give you kind of the scoop. We changed up the schedule a little bit, if you didn't already know. So all classes are running this this race here this afternoon, from Pro Row up to, or down to the C classes. The trail riders, they're all out there today. So that could be, just an added element that these guys are going to have to deal with. And there is a shot at Caleb out there all by his lonesome right now, trying to catch up with that pack of riders. See if we can get our eyes on who is running behind him. Kind of tough to see. This is what we were facing yesterday. The guys out there, they're getting covered in mud, can't see the number plates, and can't really see much of anything. But we'll keep you posted the best we can. But again, Caleb Russell in the back of the pack. You know what? Maybe it's the same recipe we had yesterday for Johnny G. Maybe Caleb works his way up through the pack and takes a checkered flag today. Who knows? He's certainly capable of it. Here's a shot of our leaders right there. Is Ricky Russell back in first? So Ricky Russell back in first place. So he was able to get around Sipes. And Ricky Russell right now is out there in Laterville. No one's even close to him. I mean, I don't know, didn't catch Sipes going down anywhere, but right now it's the Ricky Russell show. And there is our second place rider. Is that Sipes? Yes. So there's Ryan Sipes right there. So, man, I don't know what the difference is there. It's got to be, around 5-6 second difference? Maybe more than that. So Ricky Russell, your leader, out in front. Ryan Sipes comes in behind him in second. And third place, can't quite see him as we look through the wooded section there. So how about this, man? They call the mud the great equalizer, right? So that's what we're seeing out there right now. Can't quite see the number plate. But Ricky Russell, our leader out there, and Sipes is running second. There's Stu Baylor. So Stu Baylor, I believe, that puts Stu in fourth place. He wasn't real pumped about running out there today, but obviously he's working his tail off trying to get up there into the front of the pack. But right now, everybody's pretty well spread out. So I think the biggest factor we're going to see today, you think it's going to be the mud and this and that, with the sun coming out, maybe tacking up. It's going to start sticking to the machines. We'll see how that comes into play. But I think the biggest thing out there is going to be the lappers. We always talk about the lappers, race in, race out. But what we don't normally have are a lot of these C riders out there. So hopefully they, work along with them and let these guys by. But, I don't know. In some of those field or some of the wood section, there's really probably not going to be a whole lot of lines. We're getting a shot there at Caleb Russell coming through. He's making up some good time. No problem for him right now. We're going to see him make some moves, I think, before this one's said and done. He is not going to be happy and content sitting back there behind the pack. Trying to get a look here, a little empty right there right now. So again, want to thank everybody for coming out, joining us, and tuning in. GNCC Live on RacerTV.com. And there we've got a rider down already. I'm not sure who it is. It's on the KTM. That's just one of the amateur guys. Okay, so there we've already got battling with the elements. We saw a lot of this yesterday, guys, just absolutely burying them. This one's right up there by the road. And maybe he's pulling off. Maybe he said, I've had enough. I don't know. So the X Factor, to speak positively to it, it is a beautiful facility. Mother Nature didn't quite play along with us out here this weekend, but we're making the best of it. And we've got ourselves a mud race, a great equalizer. If you missed yesterday, Johnny G took the big win yesterday afternoon. First win in 23 years of pro racing. Hopefully we'll get Johnny G in the house, but we understand if he is enjoying that win today. So we'll have to see if he stops by the booth. And you see these guys, not a whole lot of, well, I guess there's quite a few different lines. It's just a matter of which one you're going to take and gamble and see what works. A lot of them, as they just sort of walk the bike through it, they got them pinned down, but I think their legs are doing more work than anything. So a couple different line choices here, seeing how those are playing out for these guys. So taking a look here, it was Zach Nolan out of the XC2 class. He took the whole shot. And then coming off the big win in round number 5, Jason Thomas, more of our riders down. The road's wet. Yeah, it looks like it's wet. So the road is, well, I guess they got boards set across there, but it is slick coming through there. Don't think the guys are quite ready for it as he smacks the bike, get rid of some of the mud.
Jason Thomas, XC3 leader.
There is a look at Jason Thomas right now. That is the FMF XC3 leader out in front. Was just talking about him. He had the big win in round number 5, and he has got his eyes set on going back to back as he turns it sideways, going back into the woods section. Jason Thomas also got the whole shot this morning, so he's going to come away with a little cash money for the whole shot out of the FMF XC3 class. And you know Jason would love nothing more than to take a big win here. That would make 2 in a row for Jason Thomas. We'll have to see if maybe Jack Edmondson can't work his way back up into the pack and see if he's got something to say about that. But as it stands right now, everybody's pretty well out there riding their own. Ricky Russell was a leader early. Ryan Sipes took it from him early on, and it looks like Ricky Russell is back out in front of him. I didn't catch who our 3rd place rider was, but it did look like Stu Baylor was out there running in 4th place. So that's kind of where we stand right now. Like I said, big story so far, Rodney, is Caleb Russell back of the pack. I don't know, maybe he's taking a page out of the Johnny G playbook from yesterday, and he's going to make a wild one here to finish. I'm not sure if anybody's capable of it. For sure, it is that man, Caleb Russell, but certainly not the place where he wants to be coming into this one.
Well, for sure. I know I could tell when he and both Trevor Bollinger went down. I don't know whether they got together or whether they just happened to be together on the ground at the same time. Didn't quite see what happened as we've got riders coming through the pro pits now. And that should be our leaders coming through there. And was that Duvall back there? Who was that in the number 2 spot? Was that Sipes back there?
Well, it was Sipes earlier, and I think that was still Ryan Sipes running 2nd.
Well, right now, here's the interesting thing. Remember Zach Nolan?
I take that back. I believe that's Duvall.
Yeah, there is Duvall in the pro pits right now, so Duvall is out. He was 2nd behind Ricky Russell, and that makes sense physically since we've seen Russell go by and then Duvall right behind him. Something I do want to point out, though, Zach Nolan got off to a rocket of a start out there in the XC2 250 Pro class. Nolan right now is currently leading the overall. The lap time 21:39 for him. Ricky Russell turned to 21:43, a 21:47 for Duvall. Jasper Morrison out of Sweden. Sorry about that. I'm butchering his name. Another 9 seconds back there. It's 21:48 there. So who did we have pushing their bike off there? Oh, pressure washing. I thought they said pushing off. But there's something to point out, man. This mud, you know, we talk about the mud. It's sticky. And even during the pre-race interviews today, a lot of folks are saying, you know, we might be better off if it was to rain. You know, it might save the equipment a little bit more, keep the heavy mud off and keep it from packing up in the radiators and getting so hot and stuff. So what you're going to see here, it's what we're witnessing, I believe, is the result of the mud being so sticky. It's kind of, well, it's a good farmland mud. It's Indiana mud. It's Midwest mud. It's got a lot of clay as much as it does anything. So it packs up and stacks up. Not quite as bad as what the mud does like in Ohio that we'll see if we hopefully don't see next weekend at the John Penton GNCC, but we have seen in the past. That's an even heavier mud than this, but at the same time, this mud does the same kind of damage that the John Penton mud does. And the critical thing is to keep these things running as smooth and as cool as possible. And there is your 2nd place ride in the XC3 class. That's Jack Edmondson there aboard the number 99 as he opens things up here. And as we take a look at his overall standings, he is not running a top 20 overall. And, you know, one has to wonder how he will fare over here in the American mud. I know he's used to riding a lot there in Europe and things. in the different kinds of terrain that he has to be faced with. Man, we got a lot of
Yes, we do. Rodney's over here looking for the FMF XC3, and I'm thinking, I don't see it either. There's a big bar there to scroll through some classes today.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen any of the FMF XC3 125 Pro-Am riders make their way into the finish line just yet. Leaders at the 1 mile marker. Ricky Russell continues to lead on his Infab Am Pro Yamaha, and there is that second place ride. I believe that is still Thad Duvall, who is shadowing him even after the pit stop, so he's made up that ground pretty quick. And I got to wonder, what's Thad going to do here? Is he going to try to get around Ricky? He's going to let Ricky lead for a little bit and then try to get around him, or is he trying to get around him and can't at this particular point?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of things to question and wonder about. As far as the current point standings are concerned, you know, taking a look at this today, you know, one thing that we talk about coming into these mud races, you know, the great equalizer, not only that, but the great turnaround as well, because you can see things change if a rider happens to have a bad day, blow up a motorcycle, not score points. Right now, Caleb Russell is enjoying about a 27-point lead over the second place in points, which is Stu Baylor. Ooh, look at this. We got some good battling going on there now. It's Zach Nolan. That is your overall leader on adjusted time, leading the XC2 Pro 250 Pro class there, and he is well thick into the XC1 class. Did you see how many red number plates were surrounding him when he went through there, and how many are behind him now?
He's off to a great start. We almost had it yesterday. A rider out of the XC2 class, what was it, Hunter Hart led. So seeing a lot of similarities here today, or here this afternoon with the bikes.
Well, as we were saying there just a few moments ago before they took the points down, that we were talking about the difference in points today. Depending on what takes place, if Russell continues to struggle, maybe even finishes outside the top 20, which I'm not thinking that he would, but if he would, then that would certainly tighten things back up. And 30 points, if Stu could actually get a win and gain those 30 points, man, we might be able to see something really phenomenally crazy take place there. Got one of our XC1 Pro class riders, the 419 machine out there, seeming to have some problems, I believe. Actually, that wasn't an XC1 rider. I'm not sure who the 419 was now, but it did have a red number background, so I thought it was one of our pro class riders. Some of those guys in other series run those red backgrounds as well. But regardless, right now we're watching, and I'm waiting to see if our XC3 have checked in. They have. Jason Thomas. Look at this. Thomas has a 1 minute and 56 second lead over Mark Horesco, the 412. And that isn't even the 99 of Jack Edmondson that we thought it would be in that third place position.
Yeah, Jason
and
Thomas.
Actually, Jack Edmondson is on the 118 machine, so that might explain why that turns out a little different. So sorry about that. For some reason, I was thinking that was him on that. But regardless, we got Mark Horesco in second, and I'm going to tell you, coming into this a little bit, I'm not going to say confused, but a little bit stir crazy, knowing that we've got nearly 475 riders on the track, and we've got every big bike that is here this weekend in all those different classes. I know we got a lot of things to try and keep up with here today, so that's what we're going to continue to try and do here.
It's going to be a juggling act for sure. And it's going to be a juggling act for our pro guys, XC1, XC2, XC3. This is something I think they're going to have to deal with throughout this. What we're doing a 2-hour race today, I understand.
Rightio, and that's normally a 3-hour race, but due to the fact that we combined the two races together, the conditions themselves, we obviously took that down to a 2-hour race.
Look at
this. This guy is dressed for success, man.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We saw him leaving registration earlier, and we took a double take. Like, what's going on here? And you dress for the job you want, right?
He wants to be a professional racer, it looks like. And I'm looking. Awesome. I'm going to see if I can find through this nearly 500 riders on the racetrack. I'm going to try to find that number 61 through all these papers. I don't think that I'm going to be able to do so. But man, you got to tip our hat, man. That's pretty creative. There's no doubt. That was 61, right?
Was it 41? I'm thinking 41.
Oh, 41? Well, if it was 51, it would have been Sean Remington. But
taking a look at the track, we got an 8-mile track today. Again, race is a 2-hour race. Terrain, well, we don't have to tell you this. Just look at your screen. Mud, machine size 105 cc and open. And then the weather, high 60s and thunderstorms. At thunderstorms, we don't like that word. We're hoping that stays away for at least the rest of the day. Now, honestly, Rodney, do you think a little rain would actually help these guys out a bit?
I'm not real sure. You know, a lot of it depends on what's going on out there in the woods. It's pretty slick right now, but it's starting to tack up at the same time. I think we're getting to a point where we're going to see this track maybe go from bad to worse to good. And it'll do it really, really fast, as long as we don't have any rain. So, in my opinion, at this juncture in the race, with the way the track is starting to shape up, I think we might be best off at this point and juncture not to. But again, a lot of it hinges on how most of this track is. As we said, it's a long track. As we can see, there's Caleb Russell making his way through.
That's
right
Becca.
Now.
Becca Sheets.
Okay, well, it was a number one.
It was a number one, that's for sure.
And it was a KTM. So let's go back up here. Let's see where Russell did check in at. Russell, not that Russell, that's Russell Bollett. Caleb Russell was 18th place overall. He's got a lot of XC2 guys in there amongst him as well, but as this race wears on, I think we're going to see that Caleb will probably move up through the ranks and move up through the pack on time. He's just kind of taking his time and biding his time right now. Now, you know, to answer that question again and maybe differently, it's still pretty slick out there, so maybe for some riders it might be better to go ahead and see the rain start to fall, but I think we're kind of on the fence on it about right now. Of course, that is a piece of plywood we got covering the road. That does get a little slicker as the mud stacks up on there, so that's why we're seeing some of these guys being a little too aggressive through that section. You just got to kind of tiptoe over that one. And just another one of the many obstacles here at the X Factor. And as you can see, now let's take a look. You know, during the pre-race interviews, they were talking about, you know, the concern was there being no bottom in the wood sections and things. But I think one of the saving graces may be their tree roots, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're only going to be able to dig down so far. There might be areas that might see holes and stuff develop, but you know, that really long section of course through the woods that's maybe feet deep or something like that may not be so much the case, because I think a lot of those tree roots may hamper a little bit of that. But again, only time is going to tell. And you know, this racetrack is going to take a lot of faces and show a lot of faces, I think, over the course of the 2 hours of racing. As I said, I already think it's starting to shape up differently than what it was. And obviously, it depends on where you're looking at the racetrack. But the main line is the one that I'm kind of paying attention to right now. Off to the side, you still got the mucky mess and stuff. But as long as these riders are staying in that main line, I think we're going to be doing A-OK. Real quick, just to give you an idea of what the top 20 is looking like after this first lap of racing. We're only 33 minutes now into a 2-hour race. Zach Nolan, XC2 250 Pro class, leading the overall and his class right now. The gap on adjusted time is only about 4.4 seconds right now. Ricky Russell is leading physically on the racetrack. The 212 machine is in second overall. Thad Duvall, third overall, who is shadowing Russell right now. Borgeson, the 250 Pro second place rider. XC2 second place is fourth place over Jesse Grom. Grom is the number 15 machine, and he is looking at a third place in class and fifth place overall right now. Benjamin Kelly, the number 12 from Harwinton, Connecticut. He is your sixth place position. As we take a look, and speaking of XC2 riders,
yeah, out of the XC2 class, Josh Toth leading the season with 140 points. Greg DeLong out there second with 101.
Look at this.
And then how about that?
Look at this right here.
Points,
this is
92
where it gets,
and 92.
Yeah, it gets interesting with Witkowski, Grom, and Lane Michael, 92 points apiece. You know, talking with Lane Michael, you know, he's seen some pretty good successes this year. The one thing that he hasn't been able to do is, I don't think, take a win, and that really weighed on him after the first 3 rounds, and he really started pushing to try to get the win, and that's what he was going after each time. And, well, that's taking him out of contention for podiums, it seems like, and especially last round, he struggled, and he said, you know, he literally second-guessed whether he even wanted to race again after that last race. He was having such a heart problem, and I have to venture to think that was just a little bit, you know, of just one of those fleeting moments. But at the same time, it shows you the types of frustration that builds upon him to try to perform when he knows what level he should be performing at. Will he be able to maybe turn it around here today? I don't know. We got a lot of variables to look forward to, including not only the muddy racetrack, but a lot of novice class riders in amongst our pro class riders today, as well as we're running them all together here at the X Factor GNCC. Right now, it's Zach Nolan out front, Ricky Russell in second, Thad Duvall is third. GNCC Live continues after this.
GNCC is Bald Eagle 50 cal, cowboy boots, diesel trucks, Copenhagen, Bush Light kind of men.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best. You have to have the best equipment under the hood. That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
I'm Barry Hawk, 8-time GNCC champion, current Coastal Racing team manager. Coastal Racing depends on Evans coolant because there is a lot of variables in GNCC racing. Toughest, most demanding sports there is. From my experience, without a doubt, Evans is the way to go. We have it in all of our race bikes, our race ATVs, our UTVs. It is for sure, without a doubt, a must on our race team. The pros use Evans coolant, and so should you.
And welcome back to GNCC Live from X Factor Whitetails in Peru, Indiana for the AMSOIL X Factor GNCC. Rodney Tomlin along with Mikey Waynes here in his home state of Indiana. The rains have fallen. It is muddy, and we have a little different tale of the tape here today with the C-Class riders racing at the same time with our XC1, 2, 3, and all of our A and B classes as well. So we've combined our morning and afternoon racers together. Kind of a light turnout due to the weather conditions and forecasts and things leading into the weekend. So a lot of riders electing not to race. A lot of riders began talking amongst themselves last night about one race, one race, one race. And I'm sure that a lot of the afternoon guys were kind of hoping for that, because what that does is give them a lot fresher race trail than what they would have been faced with if they would have gone out and tried to race after a 2-hour, 10 o'clock race this morning. So it makes it a little bit better for everyone, the track crew, the racers on the track, and everyone involved at this particular point. And as you can see, me talking a few moments ago, if you were tuned in, that things don't seem to be so bad. And maybe don't know what I'm talking about because, each time that we see a different shot, we're starting to see different areas that are starting to take on different characteristics. And I told you this racetrack would change its face over the course of these 2 hours of racing, and I think we've even seen it do it in the last half hour, as a matter of fact. And we're only now approaching about we're not even an hour into this race, only about 40 minutes into this race. So I think really here on the second lap of racing, it's already seen what the bikes are doing to this track. The question is, will it turn around? Will it get worse or get better as the day goes on? And that's going to be, I think, a big factor in how this race actually plays out throughout the course of the day. Big news is, and you keep alluding to it, Caleb Russell down on out of the first turn going into the second turn. Both he and Trevor Bollinger. And if you're wondering about Bollinger's progress right now, this young XC1 Pro Class rookie right now, believe it or not, he's already made it up to 5th place. So not saying, and he got up and left before. We did get up just a little bit before Caleb Russell, but not that much before. So it goes to show you that just a couple of seconds sometimes can play huge dividends. But at the same time, Russell being back in 11th place at the end of this first lap, I have to tend to think that we're going to see that be a lot different whenever he comes back around. He was also way back in the teens as far as the overall is concerned. If we look at it now, just to give you a heads up, that just went 100 different places than where it was supposed to, I think. But as we go to the overall, Russell was actually 18th place overall.
Wow.
So note right now, 11th in class, 18th overall. We'll see what kind of advancements he is able to make here on this second lap of racing. Traditionally, I won't say traditionally, but in memory, back when Caleb Russell was just beginning to vie for national championships from 5-6 years ago, when he and Charlie Mullins and many of the other contenders were battling for championships, Josh Strang back then even, Caleb would tend to somehow or another tank these days. These days, it didn't matter how well things were going in to this race. If it rained, Caleb Russell was going to blow up his motorcycle.
Oh, man.
And, you know, you always hear a rider on the podium, they say, you know, it wasn't the bike's fault, it was my fault, and, you know, I blew up, I did something wrong. And honestly, you know, sometimes you might look at it and say, man, that seems a little far-fetched, it could be me. But honestly, I think that's what Caleb Russell was doing. He was overriding it, not riding it properly for the conditions. But now that he is a lot more mature and more accustomed to the mud races, he's learned how to manage the race during these types of conditions. And I think at the end of this 2-hour session, he will have himself in a really good position. And at this point, Caleb doesn't have to win the race, doesn't have to win all these races. Consistency is going to be paying huge dividends, and as long as he can score a good solid top 10 today, nothing going to be heard out of this one. But I have to tend to think that Russell may be battling for a podium spot before these checkers fly today.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think it's almost so far the recipe is just almost ingredient for ingredient the same as what we saw yesterday out of the ATVs. We just knocked 2 wheels off and we're going out there and trying to set up a very similar story. Obviously wouldn't be a first career win for Caleb. He's been the automatic guy for the last several years, but still.
Zach Nolan could get his first
That's
career
true.
win. Ricky Russell could get his first career win. Thad Duvall could get his first win of the season. I mean, there's a lot of elements that are unfolding here today. And speaking of first wins, congratulations again to Johnny Gallagher on his first ever win after 23 years, his 23rd season as an XE1 Pro. You know, talking with those guys, man, yeah, this track was brutal there yesterday. And you mentioned that didn't know whether Johnny was going to be making it today. I can tell you, no. Johnny may be stopping into the booth for a moment. It's not got anything to do with the celebrations whatsoever. I've seen Johnny talk to Johnny. He said that he and Walker, he busted Walker all night long last night. He said, you did not. He's just, you sure you didn't let me have that? You sure? He's like, no, man, I did not let you have that.
Oh, man.
He said, he said, I had Adam McGill pushing me, so I was trying to push you. He says, I couldn't see. I didn't feel like I was going very fast. He said, Walker said, I couldn't see either. Nobody could see.
That's it. You know what? That just speaks to the kind of guy, to me, that speaks to the kind of guy that Johnny G is. He's so just confident, he's humble, and he would be the kind of guy to go up to Walker and say, you didn't let me have that, did you? No. And I mean, talking to Walker with RacerTV after Walker said no, he said, it crossed my mind, okay, if I'm in a position where I'm out in front, do I let, and he's like, no, Johnny would never forgive me for that. That's not how he's going to want it.
Johnny wanted it right straight up. Johnny got it straight up.
He sure did.
Adam McGill confirmed that yesterday on the podium as well. Johnny rode the race of a lifetime there yesterday, and you know, you never know. This might be the switch that flips, and he might be just totally unstoppable from this point. That would be certainly cool. But nonetheless, Johnny may stop in, but he told me, I have a job on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock with Becca Sheets to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
So with the 10 o'clock race running at 1 o'clock this afternoon, he is out there on the trail right now trying to help these ladies traverse, or at least his lady anyway, Becca Sheets, the one that he's helping out traverse these trails. Now, speaking of Open, or WXC, let's go ahead and check out WXC. They started on row number 6. Rachel Goodish is out front out of Terre Haute, Indiana. Surprise, 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 right? I mean, an Indiana girl doing well in Indiana mud. Does that surprise you at all?
No, not at all. I actually talked with her in registration right before she headed out to the start line. And I said, how do you feel about this home state mud? And she's like, oh, I'm excited. I'm ready. So no surprise there.
Well, she looks like it. Look at a minute and 55-second lead, 154.938 over Mackenzie Tricker, who I believe was battling for the early lead out there. Becca Sheets, your defending champion on her KTM out of Circleville, Ohio. Another 3 minutes back in third. Talk about
wow.
The mud's not the great equalizer here today in this class. It looks like the great separator.
Yeah, great divider between them so far. No Taylor Jones today either.
No, Taylor. I talked with Taylor. She is not going to be making wasn't going to be making the race today. I'm not sure if it was physical or mechanical that she was dealing with, but she said she wanted to save and be fresh for next weekend, as we will be going back-to-back weekends, as this race was postponed due to inclement conditions a couple weeks ago. Here's the thing, Mikey. You're from Indiana, and I talked to a few people. I've heard everywhere from 6 to 8 inches of rain up in this region. And locals that were here in Peru said, there's no way you guys could have raced here the 2 weeks ago. There's just no way that it could have been ran 2 weeks ago because of the conditions, water laying around, standing in a lot of different places. Even if it didn't rain Saturday and Sunday here, the damage was done on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There would have been no way to race here that week. And believe it or not, we come into it and we're faced with moist conditions, but at the same time, nothing like what we were faced with or would have been faced with a couple of weeks ago. So as tough as it is, man, we got the better end of the deal, I think, when it was all said and done. But so far, only 3 WXC riders checking through. Let's go back and check in with XC3 and give you the rundown of that class. As we know that we had a bit of a change up front from what we're accustomed to. Jason Thomas leading. Now, we're accustomed to that. He had a near 2-minute lead in 1 minute and 56 seconds over Mark Horesco out of Pittsburgh. Yes, I said Pittsburgh. 587, David Quillen out of it's old DQ. He tunes those machines. DQ tunes West Lafayette, Indiana. 364, Dustin Gibson out of Van Leer, Tennessee. Hey, good to see you back, buddy. In the 4th place position, Matthew Sims out of Greencastle, Indiana is 5th. Hunter North, Somerset, Connecticut, 747 and 6th. And Jaron Williams out of Connorsville, Indiana, is your 7th place rider. I got to say, I really appreciate the FMF XC3 125 Pro class. It's brought new life back to Jason Thomas's program. It introduced us to a new rider in Jack Edmondson. I know I called his name, but I'm beginning to wonder if he's even here. That might have been from a pre-registration, but he hasn't showed up on the chart yet. But nonetheless, it's given guys like that. It's given Mark Horesco, who does a lot of work and is a very fast rider, but never really had a chance to show it off in the XC1 Pro classes and things like that. So he's able to shine brightly, if you will, in this XC2 Pro-Am class. David Quill, Dustin Gibson, another rider that was an up-and-comer probably 8-10 years ago, 6-8 years ago. Just a phenomenal rider and had some major potential, but just kept running into life's problems, you know, finances. He had a wife and kids, and that all came to become a little bit more than a racing paycheck could pay for. So obviously he went to work, but in his recent years of working hard, he's been able to achieve a status of being able to go out and buy a bike. Though he's not competitive in the XC1 class, he can come here and be somewhat competitive in the XC3 class, still have fun, still enjoy the sport that that drives him, I believe, still to this day. He runs in 4th place right now. Matthew Sims, again, in 5th place. Hunter North in 6th. 7th is Jaron Williams. And it's also a great opportunity to introduce new up-and-coming riders that we may not be familiar with at this time, including, like we mentioned a few moments ago, Jack Edmondson there a few moments ago. Even Jaron Williams. Now, Hunter North, I've seen him race around a little bit. Matthew Sims, you know, you read these names every once in a while, but all of a sudden, these guys in these premier classes like this become, and you start to realize just how good riders they really were, and we're kind of being overlooked. And, you know, unfortunately, that happens a lot in GNCC racing. We don't have a chance. We don't have a chance to really, you know, follow as close as we like. But I did just get confirmation Jack Edmondson is not here. I know that there was some conflict. His father runs an off-road championship series in England as well, and he is vying for a championship in that division. So I believe sponsorships and things like that warranted that he be over there for that. Good thing, Coastal team over here really affording him some great luxuries, and knowing that, of course, you know, what the purpose is of Jackie's ride over here in the U.S. And this is hopefully only the beginning of some big things to come, but he's also got to build a name in Europe at the same time.
Yeah. Pulling double duty. I think I may have seen the leaders come through. I think I saw Thad Duvall coming through the finish.
Well, good. Let's see if we did see that. I'm going to try to go back there.
And Ricky, I think Ricky's still out there in front.
All righty, leaders are in. Ricky Russell, a 26:48 lap time, a 26:47 for Thad Duvall. The difference, I should say, is 3.1 seconds. Zach Nolan had a 21:39 last time, which was about 4 seconds faster than what Russell. So we can see that the track is about 5 minutes longer. And I will say the track, I'm not going to say it's conditions that have slowed him down, which it could be on lap 2, but at the same time, where we start in relationship to where the finish line is, that could be why the second lap is a little longer. And also, I imagine there are a few more obstacles out there. Jordan Ashburn. Whoa, look at this. Oh, Jordy on the beta out of Cookeville, Tennessee, has moved up into this number 3 spot. He's now a minute and 28 seconds back behind Thad Duvall. And I'm going to continue to set here on with my finger on the update button to see if anybody else is going to be checking in. And I expect that soon Zach Nolan should be checking in if he's still out front and still maintaining the pace that we saw him with at the end of lap number 1. Now, traditionally, we see these XC riders, the two row 2 and 3 riders, sometimes up in the mix and thick of things of the overall. But as the race day progresses, they generally fade away and back a few positions. But we've also seen on more than one occasion riders actually taking a win from the second row.
And who have we got here?
Who is this? Something's not
sure.
looking good. Is that is that Russell? That looks like Chandler, his wife, that is there. I don't know if that's Caleb or not. And unfortunately, Caleb must have found himself in a bad situation again. And
yeah, he was real slow off the bike. Almost looked like he was going to fall off the bike. He's laying on the rig now.
So we'll need to confirm whether or not that is Russell. That is Chandler Russell talking with him right now. Let's see who's this on the bike right now. They're power washing off the bike. And that was actually, who is that?
So wait. And they're running right in front of the announcing booth here.
That's the, which team is that? Is that the beta team?
That's the beta team.
That might be Ashburn. That is
all
Ashburn.
4 of them. That is Jordan Ashburn.
Oh, no. Problems for
This
Ashburn.
is just...
Oh, look at this. Now the bike's starting to steam. They've got something going on. That looks like, I don't know, would that be in the chain quite possibly? That looks
possible.
Looks like they might have something they're working on either around the gear shift, kickstart, or they're in the front cog of the chain. We got a frozen screen right now, so not real sure. And again, trying to get confirmation. I guess the best way to confirm that, walk over there, see if that's Caleb Russell over there right now. And here's a bottleneck. And here is a bottleneck right now, and Russell, or whoever that is right now, and that may not be Caleb Russell's. To your left, Mikey. Leaders on the screen. Who is going to be... Oh, there's Duvall now back there. He's trying to get through some of that lap traffic. We saw your leader, Ricky Russell, checking in. It looks like still about 3 to 4 seconds just ahead of Caleb Russell. Maybe, Thad Duvall, maybe a little bit more, but not a whole lot. Got Mikey Waynes now making his way down into the FMF KTM pits to try and find out for sure exactly what rider we have that seems to be suffering from some sort of... There is Caleb Russell. So that was not Russell, and I was wondering and second guessing that. Did not want to jump to any conclusion. So unfortunately, that must be the 113 of Russell, but not that Russell. It would be, of course, Russell Bobbitt. So Russell Bobbitt having the problems. It was the Russell, but there is your defending champion, Caleb Russell. Now let's check the results and standings as, wow. We, on timing and scoring, and you know this is wrong because it's a 10-minute, 31-second lap time. But right now, I want to give him credit. Rick G. Panetti out of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Super Senior Elite. This rider's got to be like 70. Let me see if I can find him out here.
Hey, Rodney, I'm over here with Rodney Smith at the beta trackside crew here with Rodney Smith again. What happened out there, Jordan Ashburn?
No, we just decided we'd better pit him and try to get those radiators and stuff clean and get some gas in them. We're not sure if it's going to be a 4 or 5 lap race. And unfortunately, as he took off, the hose just kind of got in his wheel, and we had to cut it out real quick. But he didn't lose any time, so I think everything's good.
All good, man. Hey, thanks, Rodney. Nice to meet you.
All right.
I'll head on over to KTM.
All right, now I'm getting a report that it might be Stu Baylor, so I'm not real sure what's going on there. Whomever it is, this is a big turn of events as far as this race day is concerned. But real quick, again, just Rick G. Panetti. There's our third place rider making his way through now. That is Jordan Ashburn on board the number 4. Pulling that roll-off. He's not wearing the tear-offs today. Traditionally, normally people use the tear-offs on days like today to keep that mud from streaking across, but he's using the roll-offs. And let's see. Wow, Lane Michael is moving up into the second place position of XC2. So after time adjustments, after the second lap of racing, XC2 Zach Nolan is leading the class still. He's in 5th place overall of the 28-29. Matching that lap time was Lane Michael. Lane Michael, though, 32 seconds back in the second place position out of Fairmont, West Virginia. So he is 6th place overall, 2nd place. So we see a big change there in the XC2 Pro Lights, I mean. We got Benjamin Kelly, the number 12. He is 3rd place in the XC2 250 Pro class. And then as far as the FMF XC3 125 Pro-Am class, Jason Thomas checking in with 2 laps. He is currently running 9th place overall. So what a way to go there for Jason Thomas.
Hey, Rodney, real quick, can confirm for you, we got Stu Baylor over here. He's not passed out, but not doing too hot. He is ill. Going to be done for the day for Stu. He's sucking on some air, trying to get him some water and get him cooled down over here. But Stu Baylor over here at the KTM trailer is out.
Any indication, does it seem to be some sort of an exhaustion, or does it seem to be from pain?
I'm not sure that it's pain. I'm not... I asked him if he was hurt, if he went down. They said no, just kind of shook his head and just laying there. So I'm not sure, a stomach issue or what.
Right, I understand that. I know these guys' diets sometimes tend to play havoc with them, especially if they change anything. And maybe he didn't get to eat his ice cream, or maybe the ice cream and the extra exerted energy that he had to exert in this heavy mud might actually have taken its toll on him today. So maybe not so much the ice cream before the race today, Stu Baylor. Man, that is a true heartbreaker as well. Hopefully things will subside and still be able to go back out and pick things back up and at least try to score some points today. I'm not real sure exactly how many riders that we've had check in with at least 1 lap of racing complete. As soon as my computer does its little fancy thing here and catches up to itself. So far, we've had 148, about half the field has checked in so far. So we're doing a lot better than what we did yesterday with the ATV afternoon race. I think we had like 48 riders check in on the first lap of racing. By the conclusion of it anyway. There was a few more by the end, but regardless, right now we though we're watching the TV monitors as well as the computer screen. We are nearly an hour into this race, and questions looming. Will we be seeing a 4? Will we be seeing a 5-lap race? I think that the tell of this tape will be told likely at the end of this particular lap. Again, folks, welcoming you out to a very muddy AMSOIL X Factor GNCC from Peru, Indiana. It is round 6 of a 13-round championship, and approaching the halfway point, we begin the midway season swing through 6, 7, and 8. Next week, we'll be rolling into Eastern Ohio, the off-road mecca of the world there for many, many years in southeastern Ohio, to Millfield, and of course, one of the longest-standing GNCCs on the schedule. And we're talking about the Wiseco John Penton GNCC, and honestly, I'm beginning to think it might be the longest standing on the circuit itself, so the oldest GNCC, so it may have that prestige here today. Well, things are certainly a lot different than what they were anticipated to be as far as an off-road race, but it is springtime and Mother Nature is having her way here in the heartland, the Midwest of Indiana. Stick around. We've got more to come here as Ricky Russell leads Thad Duvall, Jordan Ashburn, Zach Nolan, and Lane Michael. Your top 5. GNCC Live continues after this.
Are you looking for a dirt bike piston that can increase power and decrease blow-by? Then check out Wiseco's all-new Racer Elite piston line. Racer Elite has been used exclusively by the pros, including RCH, Yoshimura, Suzuki Factory Racing, and are now accessible to the public. Available for popular 250 and 450cc dirt bikes, the Racer Elite series is the first off-the-shelf asymmetrical power sports piston ever made. Its fully machined billet aluminum construction features an exclusive custom lap top ring. Step up with dyno-proven power gains with Wiseco's Racer Elite piston line.
You smell it, you feel it, you can taste it in the air. Speed, man. Full wide open. Blast. I didn't really like high school too much. Too booky, too take notes, learn this, and that's it. Got wild tech. That full-size motorcycle. The feeling of taking them apart every day, putting them back together. You can't explain it. Everything I learned applies to now. Seeing your motorcycle that you put together right around the track at 180 miles an hour, oh, definitely rewarding. My name is Mike. My school's Wyotech.
Get on the fast track to a career. Turn pro at Wyotech.
And welcome back to GNCC Live from Peru, Indiana. The AMSOIL X Factor GNCC is Russell Bobbitt, multi-time national enduro champion, has made his way into the pits steaming. They've actually just sprayed that machine off to try to keep it from overheating. Stu Baylor out of this one, at least for the moment, having some stomach issues. Of course, Caleb Russell, a bad start today, has him all the way back in 11th place position after the second lap of racing.
But if I'm right, was not Caleb Russell after lap number 1? I think he was back there, what, 18th, 19th, so chipping away a little bit.
Exactly. So 18th overall is where he was at the end of lap number 1. And remember, we did make note that we would expect to see him moving up. He was 11th in class at the end of the first lap. And at the end of the second lap, Russell has moved up into 6th place. So class points, he's certainly gaining several, as well as he is gaining points in the overall also, which is what these guys race for as far as the national championship is concerned. And of course, that's where the points count. So right now, I believe Caleb is just really not pushing any envelopes. He's not really trying to make any headway, major headway. He knows it's a 2-hour race. He knows it's a war of attrition, and he knows what he is capable of, as he has proven it time and time again.
Yes, he absolutely has. And, man, what a tough break for Stu Baylor. Hopefully, he didn't look too good over there. Just ask him how he's doing. He just shook his head. And I asked one of the guys over there, man, was he injured? Was he hurt? What happened? So they said it just, virus issues, or like you mentioned, maybe the diet, not sure.
Well, I'll say this, too. I mean, the extra physical exertion that these riders may have to put out, looking at his bike, it had a lot of mud on it. He could have been buried up in a hole, and to take sometimes, that adrenaline sometimes can really overpower you and sometimes do you more harm than good, especially if you get an overrush of it, and if he had a long, extended rush of adrenaline while trying to get that out.
Speaking of stuck in the mud.
Yeah, look at that. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. But looking at his bike, it could have been a lot worse than that. And, to get it out, if it starts suction cupping, and actually sticking the bike, it gets tough to get those things out. So it could wear a person out pretty quick. And I know that, a few things coupled together with that could certainly put you in a situation in which Stu is finding himself in right now. Look at this. That rear tire is not even hitting the ground. He is stuck on his foot pegs right now and still trying to get out of this. And all those other riders just walking by. There goes Mama Russell right there. Look at that. That right there is Caleb Russell's mom. She was going to try to walk by. Listen to her. Well, watch what she does here. She's going to tell him how to do it. And look,
there we go. Mama was right. Mama knows best.
She was going to go, and then she turned around. You've seen it. She couldn't leave the guy standing there. She turned around, went back, and did you see the intensity? She was screaming at that guy. I wish we could get a rapid replay of that if we can.
The thing that makes me laugh about that is her daughter, Michaela, was up. I was talking to her prior to the race, Michaela, and she said, oh, Mom will be out there. I don't miss those days of Mom dragging me around this track in the mud boots, pulling people out. She said, but I'm telling you right now, Mama Russell will be out there doing it. And there you go.
That was a prime example. She was trying her best to walk on and not turn around, but she just couldn't do it. She turned around, and then she told him what to do, and then it was funny. Intense. Love it. So thank you, Mama Russell. That's what we're going to call her right now. Of course, it's Tina Russell for those that know us and love her here close by. But for the racing world, we'll just call her Mama Russell out there. So Mama out there, Mama and everybody on the racetrack. And, of course, it's going to be interesting to see just exactly how much work she gets herself into today. I would venture away from some of those holes and ruts like that if I were her, but no, I think she's going to be right there. She's the first one in and the last one out generally. Hashtag GNCC Live, my friends. If you're watching at home on RacerTV, follow us on all the social medias at RacerTV, and of course at GNCC _GNCC, I believe it is on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. We also got our Twitter, and we also got Facebook that you can follow us on. Search us out, find us, and be hashtagging GNCC Live. Let's group those all together. If you're here taking photos, let us know. Put those all up together. If you're at home watching, whenever you tweet, when you post, make sure you include us, because we want to know that you're watching and that you're enjoying yourself while watching this this crazy one, man, the epic X Factor GNCC.
That's absolutely right. So I'm just getting back in the booth and catching up. Zach Nolan now back in the 4th place spot. I think they're wanting to mention the AMSOIL spot. There we go, right there. That's what we're talking about. Instagram contest.
We're back to this.
And we
okay. Okay, I didn't realize AMSOIL podium predictions. I didn't know we were doing this again today, but thankfully we are. So, man, this is going to be a tricky one, man. You could just about name anybody, I think. But comment your podium predictions for a chance to win $250 in AMSOIL product. The photo is on at GNCC_racing on Instagram. So go on the Instagram, comment your podium predictions, and we'll be giving away $250 in AMSOIL products afterwards. And again, you can see the photo on at GNCC_racing there on Instagram. So play along, join along, and enjoy the good times at home and here at the racetrack today. Folks, I am about ready to do it. I'm about ready to go into one of the longest mid-state Chevy Midway reports. So we're only going to do top 5.
That works.
Because we've got about 40 classes that we're going to have to run through right here. The Mid-State Chevy Midway Report. Keep an eye on the screen. Let me know if anything changes out here. Brought to you by your friends at Mid-State Chevrolet, the official truck provider of the GNCC Racing Nation, where they stack them deep and sell them cheap. Located there in the heart of West Virginia off I-79 at the Flatwoods exits. Check them out online at midstatechevy.com. Quick look at the overall. Ricky Russell, Thad Duvall, Jordan Ashburn. Your top 3. Zach Nolan leading the XC2 50 Pro class, is running in the 4th place overall position. That's XC2 250 Pro class. I'll get it right one day. Lane Michael, who's 2nd in that class and closing up 32 seconds back now, is 5th overall. Josh Strang 6th. That would put him 4th place in the XC1 Pro class. Trevor Bollinger is 5th place in the XC1 Pro class and 7th place overall. Right now, Jason Thomas, who is leading the FMF XC3 125 class, is 8th place overall right now. So he picks up another couple spots there. Number 12, Benjamin Kelly out of Harwinton, Connecticut, is 9th. He is your XC2 250 Pro class 5th place, or 3rd place rider, I'm sorry. And then Caleb Russell now up to 10th place overall. That again, we seen one rider with a 10-minute lap time. That super senior elite rider had a 10-minute lap time out there. So look at that. Is that the finish line?
That is at the right under the finish line.
Oh my, folks, look at that. We're down. The wheel is nearly covered there, dug into the hole there. They're going to have their hands full at the finish line. You think it's bad here? Think about checkpoints. Think about single line sections of the track. Maybe these boys were right. Maybe this will end up being one of the worst tracks, or tougher tracks, that these guys have had to try to manipulate out there. So there we took a look at your top 10 overall. Let's go class by class now. Starting there with the, looks like our 40-plus class. Shotgun Sean Remington, Senior A class leader, the 51 in New Salem, Pennsylvania, over Reese Petron.
Now we got a rider bringing the banner with him through the finish line.
Oh, mercy sakes alive. It is getting treacherous down there at the finish line. It is getting to be a job. We're going to see a lot of guys down there working with shovels and tow ropes and everything else, trying to get those guys through that section. Paul Petron in the number 2 spot of the Senior A class. Joe Kessler, the 417, running in 3rd. Eric Terrell, 531, is 4th. And the 103, Christian Broomball, rounds out the top 5.
There's XC2 Chris Vendetti is tied up.
Chris Vendetti, your XC2 rider. Wow, I think he just wrapped up his 2nd lap of racing, the 941. We saw him get the whole shot at round 1 this season. Then he had some injury and had to sit out a couple of rounds. But Vendetti was the rider wrapped up in the banners there at the finish line. There's that 61 machine, the well-dressed guy.
It was 61. My apologies.
Yeah, I did.
Blue Blazer, number 61.
Blue Blazer. Blue Blazers, Blue Blazers. We'll see if we can get to him, though, and find out who this guy is. He deserves the love. Actually, I think I missed his number on his helmet. Can we get that one more time? His number was on his helmet. I don't think it's the number 61. All right. Maybe not.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I can't quite see it. I believe it's 4 something.
Yeah, 460 something. It might be 463. They try to keep their numbers as close as possible. Wow, I don't know what's happened. I hit a button here, and I've gone down through. Oh, no, I'm only down to the Open B class. That's just the way they are today. James Harshberger leading the Open B class right now. 3-minute, 41-second lead over the 6:07 of Anthony Schroer out of Albany, New York. 8:37, Jared Shiley out of Clearbrook, Virginia. He is third, fourth place right now. He is the 5:02 of Jacob Barnes. Barnes then followed by George Douglas. Old George Doug, the number 438. Let's call him G-Doug. I got a friend back home. His name is George William. They call him GW. We've shortened it down to G-Dub. And eventually, I'm just going to be calling him Dub. But anyway, George Douglas is fifth. I don't know why that, but it made me think of my buddy back home, I guess. So there you go. Now we're talking about next class with 1 lap complete. These riders are probably due in within the next couple minutes for the 250B class. So don't be panicked just yet because they're not in. But after 1, Yerkesville, Ohio's Dakota DeVore. The 526 had a 5.5-minute lead over Tyler Martin, the 760 out of Parker, Pennsylvania. Michael DeLosa, the 441 of Gillette, PA, is third. Fourth place, 510, Brady Stepanchik out of Linton, Indiana. And Caleb Langley out of Bloomington, Indiana, rounded out your top 5 there. As we go next to the 200B class, 597. Ooh, what we got going on? Oh, mercy.
It's chaos. It's absolute chaos.
That is the finish line right now.
Yeah.
That's starting to look almost like a mini Blackwater 93 River crossing where these guys are going to have to launch that bike out of that hole across the finish line. I'm kidding. It doesn't look like that. But that way he launched there, it wouldn't surprise me if that hole doesn't dig out and they have to launch it across the finish line. That's pretty interesting. To the 200B class now, as we watch the antics and the racing, I think that's what's going on in amongst this play riding out here for some of these guys today. 597, Noah Stewart out of Martins Ferry, Ohio, leading the 154. Benjamin Wright out of Gillette, PA. Nick Haynes out of Strabane, Pennsylvania, the 401 is third. 318, Chase Colville out of West Sunbury, Pennsylvania is fourth. 347, Cole Johnson out of Vail, North Carolina, in the number 5 spot. That's the only... that's the only top 5 riders checking in that class so far. Still waiting on some more. Michael Tedlow leading the 4-stroke B Lights class out of Lebanon Junction, Kentucky on the 405. The 442, Hunter Hart, who got third in the XC2 Pro-Am class yesterday, nearly won the overall out of Newfield, New York, runs second in the 4-stroke B Lights class. Third place, 258, Bolton McRoth out of Plafftown, Pennsylvania. How do you say that? Plafftown, North Carolina. It's P-F-A-F-F-T-O-W-N. Fourth place, the 371, Adam Parker out of New Kensington, Pennsylvania. Fifth place, the 428, Sean Cochran from Cross Lanes, West Virginia. Your top 5 4-stroke B Lights class as we move to next, where Jordan Overfield is the dominating factor in the Vet B30 Plus class, the 609 so far out of Morgantown, West Virginia. Imagine that, home of Racer Productions and the GNCC itself. The only rider that has been able to complete 1 lap. He did it in 48 minutes and 21 seconds. We'll keep an eye out, see if any more Vet B riders are able to make it. But Jordan, you're the man right now. Moving on. In the Mid-State Chevy Midway Report, William Lackey, the 759 from Hickory, North Carolina, leading 9.5 minutes over the 107. Jeffrey Flynn out of Old Fields, West Virginia. Is that our leaders coming through now? Some of our top runners. That might have been Thad Duvall, I think, checking in there.
I gotta think that if it's still bottled up like that at the finish, though, those guys are gonna have one heck of a time working through that pack.
Oh yes, they most certainly will. So keep an eye out right there.
They are getting close there, I think, as last little wood section.
I'm going to stop right here for just a second. We'll go through Gregory Richardson of Verona, PA, third in the senior B class behind Jeffrey Flynn. Fourth place, the 150, Devin Ferguson out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and the 434, Mark Proper out of Guys Mill, Pennsylvania, is rounding out your top 5 senior B class. Again, I want to see where we are on expecting our XC1 class in. Time in, oh, well, shoot, we're still about any time. Actually, it just said leader due in 0:00, well, 40 seconds now. So we'll be sticking around here at the finish to catch up with our front runners. Can Ricky Russell maintain the lead here? Thad Duvall was able to get around, only 3 seconds separating the two when they came by a few moments ago. They had a 1.5-minute buffer back to Jordy Ashburn, the number 4 machine. But you can see right now that Yamaha, the Infab Impro Yamaha team, is anticipating Ricky Russell's arrival. You can see they've got the power washer in hand. They've got fresh goggles, fresh water, and I'm sure a big splash. Yep, the IMS tank is there, so they got a big splash of gas getting ready to roll into Ricky Russell, and we may be about to witness history here, friends, as Ricky continues to maintain a decent pace, but Thad Duvall still in that number 2 spot at last check. We don't know exactly what's going on there. So right now, according to timing and scoring, these riders, if they were running the same pace as they did a lap ago, should have checked in or should be checking in about any time. A lot of it hinges on how close my computer is to the official scoring monitor. But there it is. Thad Duvall has checked in. The 989, your new leader out of Williamstown, West Virginia, Ricky Russell, still not checked in. So Duvall, a 26:36. Wow.
He might be in this pack.
Actually, Duvall, my timing and scoring might be a little bit off, about 30 seconds or so, but Duvall actually turned a 26:36. I think he picked up pace that last time around, so he got a little faster. And Ricky Russell, we see, is, no, that wasn't Russell in and out of the pits. That might have been one of their amateur riders. But we have not seen Russell come through the... What was that? Did you say, I think he said Thad Duvall came through. Yes, we know that. We're waiting on Ricky Russell to come through now. Not sure what's going on there. A minute and 28-second deficit back to 3rd place. That's a pretty good buffer zone, man. But in conditions and days like today, if you get buried up, go down and can't get that bike picked up quick enough, a minute and a half can go by fairly quickly, Mikey.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And Ricky Russell, after he led, the first couple of laps in this one, you know he's going to be hungry and looking for a spot. And maybe Thad has got something up his sleeve. Maybe that's how he worked his way around Ricky Russell.
Well, he's in now.
Ricky didn't.
Ricky did check in, a minute and 1 second back.
Wow.
A minute and 1 second back. 101.188 is the deficit now between first and second. And Russell, Ricky, I should say, shouldn't be too concerned yet. We still have about 45 minutes of racing left to go. White flag is out. So one more. He should be a little worried, a little concerned.
Yeah, this is it.
This is it. I just now noticed, obviously, they were shooting for a 2-hour race, and I didn't want to say this, but a lot of it.
Check out the mud on the front of this tire here.
Well, look, I mean, we're on flat ground.
Yeah.
And this guy's is actually struggling. Now, some of these riders with some momentum are doing okay, and that's the main thing, is keeping up that momentum, but it's getting tough to keep up momentum out there for some of these riders. And look how soft it is. We're in that situation right now where the track is about to go to the worst possible condition it could, and then it would turn around and start to be better. Honestly, I've seen them do that before in the past, but we're at a situation and scenario right now that we can't afford to wait long enough for that track to turn back around. So we may be looking at just under a 2-hour race now, as riders were turning a 26-minute lap time last two times around. Adding that to our current lap time at 23 minutes coming in, that's going to put us in 20 minutes, an hour, and about an hour and 45 minutes. We'll be right around that hour and 45-minute mark. That right there will be a sufficient time frame, I think, to call this a good race. It's more than halfway of the 3-hour race that they normally run in the afternoon. Obviously more than halfway of a race that they run in the 10 o'clock race for the 2 hours. So when you look at the grand scheme of things, we've got more than enough. We got 50% of the time, and so we've got more than enough to literally call this a race and be satisfied with the fact that everything is kosher. And I think, honestly, riders, teams, everybody out there is going to appreciate the fact that, they may not have to go that extra lap. One rider that might come out a little short on it is Caleb Russell. Yeah. And for those of those that say, oh, well, they do it to help Caleb out. They do it to help Caleb out. Well, they threw the check. And I've heard those things in the past. Well, look, folks, they're throwing it early today as well. And Caleb is nowhere in contention for a lead or for a win right now. He is, as much as anybody, just struggling to get around this racetrack here on this Sunday afternoon in Lebanon, Indiana.
If that was Caleb, nope, Josh Strang has come through.
I don't know if that was Caleb or not. I just looked up. Is that Caleb there, maybe?
Yes, that was Caleb.
Without the front number plate. Wow, Caleb's having a rough day. Again, I told you, Caleb's one of those guys, he don't like the mud, and he has performed well in it, but today is one of those days, steady as she goes. You can tell he's gone down. It's not going the way that he wants, but you don't see him doing anything stupid. I think that what he's doing, he's riding the bike, he's just riding the race, going to finish as strong as he can today and salvage what he can out of this day. And, we say it, I think, race after race, and oftentimes you're as good as your worst day.
Yeah.
And if you're on your worst day, you can dig deep and fight hard to still do well and prove yourself, proud of yourself, and show that you got the heart. Then obviously you're on the right track, and that's the heart of a champion right there, and that's what we're witnessing out of Caleb Russell. I mean, theoretically, he could just about say the heck with this, go back in points a little bit, maybe lose 15 or so points, 10 points or so behind. I don't even think it'd be that, maybe 8 points behind. And that with Stu Baylor out, that wouldn't even do that. So in reality, I'll tell you, Caleb Russell could not finish today and still come out of this one with 145 points, still a 27-point lead over Stu Baylor. But the 30 points would be 126. It would tighten things up between he and Thad Duvall at that point. So I don't think that Caleb Russell's thinking that right now, but I'm just saying for those Caleb Russell fans that say, what happens if Caleb does break down?
Yeah.
Honestly, he's in a pretty good position with the way the other things have unfolded here today. Man, that right there is just mercy.
You know what? We've not touched on it yet, but we were talking. Well, I think we talked a little about it on Friday. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. These overall trophies we've got out here. There has never been a trophy we've had that had Thad Duvall's name on it more than the ones we've got out here at the X Factor. And by God, he may just get it.
You're absolutely correct, sir. I have to tend to agree with you on that one. Let's take a look at some more of these classes. We only got partially way through the Mid-State Chevy Midway report. Jordan Overfield, by the way, leading the Vet B class, still on the 609 in Morgantown, West Virginia. We got Vet B 30-plus. Rachel Goodish leading the WXC class. We've only got 3 in so far with that one we told you about. Here we go. Super Senior A 45-plus class. Kenny Hawkins out of Elkins, West Virginia. 9-minute and 32-second lead over Morgantown, West Virginia's Willis West, who used to be a major contender and factor in GNCC racing and kind of faded away for a few years, but back with us. Good to see you back at it, Willis. Rick Panetti out of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, leading the Super Senior B 45-plus class. He was leading the overall. They took that lap away from him, but he's still leading. He had a short lap, about 10 minutes, so he must have made a wrong turn out there. Craig Smith running in the number 2 spot in that class right now. Smith, by the way, comes from Medina, Ohio. Next up, as our computer updates here, Zach Nolan leading the XC2 Pro Am, or excuse me, the XC2 Pro 250. We got Mike Wachowski in second, Benjamin Kelly third. Lane Michaels dropped back to fourth. Now, Michael at the end of 2 had moved up to second, was 32 seconds back. Unless Ben Kelly didn't score in that last time around. They got him that time. Not real sure, but we haven't seen, actually, Lane Michael check in for his 3rd lap. There's Craig DeLong in now, 58 seconds behind Benjamin Kelly. We could be seeing disaster spell once again for the 523 of Lane Michael. Josh Toth, who has won every race so far in the XC2 Pro 250 class, running right now back in a 6th place position. Will he have enough time on this 1 lap of racing? He's a couple, 3 minutes back behind, about 5 minutes back behind the leader in this class. Zach Nolan looks like he might have this one pretty much dialed in. Up next, Jeffrey Coates leading the Masters 850-plus class. Steve Daxton running in second. Coates out of Faison, North Carolina. Sissonville, West Virginia, home for Steve Daxton. Swayze, Indiana. Mark Harshman in third. 4th place, Mark Lee out of Statesboro, Georgia. And Michael Johnson in 5th place out of Lockport, New York. Gary Basang leading the Masters B 50-plus class. And so far, the only rider to check in, he turned a 54-minute, 17-second first lap time. We go to our next class. Patrick Flynn leading Norman Turnberg Patrick Flynn out of Huntington, Indiana, had a 6-minute, 20-second lead over Norman Turnberg out of Hampton, Massachusetts. Rusty Renaud out of Stafford, Missouri, another 5:48 in third. Robert Kirshner out of Terre Haute, Indiana, in the 4th place position, only 54 seconds back. Robert Hosler out of Hamilton, Ohio, Silver Masters 55+ class, 34:36 lap time, the only rider to check in that class so far. Kim Mankey, the rider from West Bloomfield, Michigan, an hour and 7-minute lap time on his first time. Golden Masters 60+. Mankey, I think, I have to look, but I think he's like 62 or 63. Regardless, 60+ in these conditions today, that's saying a whole lot. He's got that one dialed in. Golden Masters 60+ class as we go to the Elite Masters. These riders 65 years of age and older, and none checking in so far. I can imagine why. Elite Masters. No, that was the Elite Masters. Now Women B class. Allison Bradshaw out of Knoxville, Tennessee, leading Annalisa Davis out of Bertrandville, Pennsylvania in the Women B. In the next class, Jake Easler leading Landon Ray. That is the 125 BC bike class. Both riders out of North Carolina. As we look at our next class, Devin Haley out of Petroila, Indiana. A 14 minutes, 56 seconds. Called a 15-minute lead in the Open Sea College over Zachary Dennis out of Clarington, Ohio. Philip Giganius is running in the number 3 spot. Andrew Davis out of Hickory, North Carolina, in 4th of the Open Sea College 16 to 24-year-old class. Next class we're looking at, man, that is just looking like
the mud fleas are out there helping pack down the track, picking out lines.
Open Sea Junior 25+ class. No riders checked in yet. Next class, Jason Thomas, XC3 FMF XC3 class. Jason Thomas leading Mark Horesco after 2 anyway. Horesco has checked in with only 2-3 for Jason Thomas. It was Matthew Sims in 3rd place, David Quillen in 4th, Dustin Gibson rounding out the top 5. We see Ian Flynn from Greensboro, Pennsylvania, leading the 250C Schoolboy 14 to 17 class over Meta George's Davis Vacillados, like mashed potatoes, Vacillados. Dylan Ely. That's it, Ely. No, it's Ely.
Ely, okay.
It is Ely. I heard you saying that. It is Ely. Teely Energy, T-E-L. It is Ely. I did want to let folks know that. And Dylan Ely is leading, E-L-Y. Ely out of Waynesburg, Pennsylvania is 3rd place right now in the 250 Schoolboy 14 to 17-year-old class. Yeah, I figured that out at the beginning of the season this season, so don't feel bad. You're new. You can
that's right. I get to play that card at least through the end of the year, right?
Yeah, for a little while longer. 250C Schoolboy 14 to 17. Garrett George out of Charleston, West Virginia leading. And was that Mrs. Duval that was that?
I do believe it was, and she was all smiles.
Yes, she was. Just walking leisurely through the pits, no company, sipping on a drink. That's what she's thinking. She's thinking feet in the sand, umbrella drinks, and celebrating a win. But she ain't going to have time to celebrate because they're heading straight to Ohio. And actually, that one's going to be close to Caleb Russell's home, about 30 minutes out their front door, 40 minutes, call it, to the John Penton GNCC. He lives in Williamstown, West Virginia, but it's very, very close. So, you know, this is going to be big for Thad. A win like this today going to give him some momentum going into Ohio, and the race fans are going to come unglued. Garrett George leading the 250C College 18 to 24-year-old class. Colton Hawk out of Petersburg, West Virginia, your 250C Junior 25+ class leader, the only rider to check in that class. We see Ryan Bishop out of Brewston Mills, West Virginia, leading in the 200C Schoolboy 12 to 15 class over Jake Borum out of Richmond Hill, Georgia. Trevor Getz out of Oxford, Ohio, runs in 3rd. As we continue through our Mid-State Chevy Midway report, next class we'll be taking a look at is going to be one that has Lucas Sepeliak in it, and that's out of New Kensington, Pennsylvania. Morning class rider, I believe that's 200C 16+ class over Jesse Groves out of Morgantown, West Virginia. Ryan Ladon is out of Allison Park, Pennsylvania, and Cody Moorhead out of Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Now, Ladon, I wonder if that's Jeremy, signed up under a different name today. We got TJ Fine. Things are fine in his world, man. They're always fine in TJ's world. Out of El Vernon, Pennsylvania, the only rider to check in so far in the 4-stroke C Lights class. Next class we take a look at is going to be Jared Schuster out of Cleves, Ohio. A 30-minute lead over Adam Wachowski, the second-place rider, who had a 4-minute and 50-second lead over Tom Alkire of Weston, West Virginia. Randy Revore out of Allison Park, PA, another minute and 2 seconds back. 30-minute, 34-second lead. That is quite likely one of the largest leads I think I've ever seen. Leaders due in 24 minutes also, so he's running late. He turned a 26:42 lap time. I have to wonder, man, with these other guys, 57 and 102 and 103, if Jared Schuster either A, did not ride the lap of a lifetime or come up and make a wrong turn out there. I don't want to take anything away from him, but he is a novice class rider running a pro class time. 26:42, that was pro class lap times out there on that first lap. So, yeah, I think that we might be able to reassess that a little bit. Not saying they did it on purpose. There's a lot of ways to get confused out here today. Bill Hollenbeck, the super, and not saying he even did it. He might have had the lap of a lifetime out there that day. There's no way to prove that he didn't, actually. Bill Hollenbeck out of Kinderdale, Pennsylvania, leading the Super Vet C35 Plus class, 7 minutes, 16 seconds over Josh Coleman out of Muncie, Indiana. Going next to Senior C40 Plus class. Guess how many's checked in there, Mikey?
None. 3.
None.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You flipped to the next one.
But get this. The Super Senior C45 Plus class has 3 riders in. Michael Lanning out of Logan, Ohio. He comes from some thick mud. He knows how to ride it. But Great Tennessee's Thomas Lambert and Tracy Potter out of Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania. Your Super Senior C45 Plus class top 3 here today. And Ben Pearson's leading out here, it looks like, as he is taking the Open A class lead after 2 laps of racing, a 47-second lead over the 521 of Kobe Beckert out of Zanesville, Ohio. Connor Smith, a 67, running out of Denver, North Carolina, about 18 minutes, 58 seconds back in 3rd, but still steady. Evan Earl, the 39 machine of the Blacksburg, South Carolina, about 45 seconds back in 4th and 5th place, 3:53 of Maxwell Randolph out of Indianapolis, Indiana. That's the Open A bike class. As we go to see where Scott Haynes is leading the Master C class out of Charleston, West Virginia, minute 54 seconds over Ray Fehrenbach out of Cumming, Georgia. Master C 50-plus class. There's Caleb Russell making his way through on screen right now, folks, tiptoeing through that lap traffic out there. Be interesting to see how much more ground he's been able to make up to 6th in class, 10th overall. And I expect to probably see him even a little further up. Women's C class, no riders checking in that. Jack Hargan, though, out of Attica, just south of here in Indiana, in that Sportsman A class, leading Chris Christman out of Hartford City, Indiana, at an 18-minute, 9-second lead after the first lap. Now, your leader in it with 2 laps. Sportsman B, Dylan DeJoy, Terre Haute, Indiana, is your leader. We got a 5-minute lead over Ryan Kuna out of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Adam Miller out of Indianapolis, Indiana, another 23 minutes back in 3rd. I'm just telling you this, let you know how challenging these conditions are. Connor Ginn out of Fort Air, Indiana, is 4th, and Peter Kavsky out of Darien, Illinois, rounds out the top 5. Austin Higbee out of Lafayette, Indiana, leading the trail rider class. Jonathan Johnson out of Landrum, South Carolina, leading that 258 class, a near 7-minute lead over Bradley Lander, the 351 out of Saluda, North Carolina. Mahacky City, Florida's Jesse Ansley back in 3rd aboard the number 28. Alex Teagard out of Waynesburg, PA, is running in 4th, and it's Cody Barnes out of Sterling, Illinois, to round out your top 5. And that 208 class has gotten extremely stiff this 258 class has gotten extremely stiff this 2017 season, as is this 208 class. Nathan Davis leading this one out of Vail, North Carolina. As we take a look at it,
this guy needs new tires.
I think that guy may need new tires, and I think I found our rider, the guy in the suit. I think it's the 463 of Nathan Davis out of Vail, North Carolina. If we read his number tag right on his helmet, that could have been wrong, but I think that might have been him. 235 Brody Johnson out of Landrum, South Carolina. 95 Cash Jacobs out of Sarasota, Florida. 4th place Hank Hayes. Hey, welcome back, Hank Hayes out of Oakdale, Pennsylvania. Got to say it like that every time. I have no, it's a Tourette's thing or something like that with me. Hunter Reamer out of Saxonburg, Pennsylvania, who took the overall in the youth today, right?
No.
Is that a different Hunter Reamer?
I believe that's a different one.
There's 2 Hunter Reamers.
Well, I had Mac Raymer.
Oh, Mac Raymer.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought
maybe little brother.
Maybe it was little brother.
And I think he got second out there today.
Well, regardless, the Reamers are doing well today in 200A class. Hunter, and he did race. I think this is his first year in the 200A class. So, Saxonburg, PA. So we'll go to commercial right after we run through a couple more of these quick classes. The Mid-State Chevy Midway Report, 4-stroke A lights class. Tyler Braniff out of Terra Alta, West Virginia, leading Nick O'Brien out of Chillicothe, Ohio. Connor Keegan out of Cole Center, Pennsylvania is third. Ryan Slopko out of Londonderry, Ohio is fourth. Justin Murphy out of Morgantown, West Virginia rounds out your top 5. Probably one of the tighter top 5s I've seen there in the 4-stroke A lights class, and there's some separation amongst those boys as well. Andrew Boggs leading out of Masontown, West Virginia. We'll be heading there in a few rounds. This junior AB 25+ class, the 44 machine out front, the 366 in second. Josh Keys out of Scottsburg, Indiana, 16 minutes off pace. Brad Caraway, 360 out of Clarksville, Indiana is third. Kevin Simons, 439 out of Gloucester, Ohio is fourth. Sean Cunningham out of Knoxville, Tennessee, the 928 rounds out the top 5. Next, Joe Marsh leading out of Indianola, Pennsylvania, the number 38 Vet A class leader. 92 Sam Forrester of Elkton, Maryland is second. Ryan Inman out of Morgantown, West Virginia, the 54 in third. 134 Jared Hoffman in South Park, PA in fourth. Leaders on screen right now, so we're taking a look at that. Thad Duval continuing to hold the pace out front as we watch that race unfold here today and see if he's going to be able to take home the big, massive trophy that is going to be afforded, worth over $5,000 here today. 831 Bill Zavendi out of Cabot, Pennsylvania is your Bet 8 30-plus 5th place position rider. And believe it or not, I think that's it. I believe we've gotten through the entire field of classes today. So that does it for our Mid-State Chevy Midway Report. I want to say thanks to Mid-State Chevy at midstatechevy.com, where they stack them cheap and sell them deep, the official truck provider of the GNCC Racing Nation. Well, right now we continue to see that Thad Duval still out front as he makes his way past this section of our racetrack right now. That is the 989 Husqvarna rider on his way to what looks like victory here at the inaugural running of this AMSOIL X Factor GNCC, enjoying a over 1 minute lead at last check over Ricky Russell. Josh Strang had moved into third, 1 minute and 50 seconds back on the 114. How's it all going to pan out? What's going to happen? Can Caleb Russell make up some more ground? Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
Introducing SoundArt, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. SoundArt is elegantly hidden behind a high-grade, textured canvas wrap, bringing together the best of sound and art. This innovative design allows for a truly invisible, high-fidelity sound experience without bulky speakers. SoundArt by Ansia. Your art never sounded so good.
Whether you are looking for a 150 class or 600 class deer, X Factor Whitetails can suit your needs. We offer guided weapon of choice hunts for all groups of all sizes. From the time you arrive at our location, you'll get the 5-star service. We boast the capability of sleeping over 20 people comfortably.
And welcome back to GNCC Live here from the X Factor in Peru, Indiana. It is the AMSOIL the AMSOIL X Factor GNCC in Peru. And again, you saw that commercial just a moment ago, those big, massive racks on those deer, where we have a rack from deer taken here on this property, and they will, well, one of the nation's top sets of largest sets of typical rack is going to be given away as a trophy today, courtesy of our friends right here at X Factor. Want to say thanks to those folks, and check them out on the web, man. Google, do whatever you got to do. If you really want a good controlled environment to come hunt, you want a good trophy deer, these folks are the ones to come see. Not only deer, but they've got a lot of different things that they do here, so be sure and check them out. I think there's even like a big national coon hunters organization across the road, not on this property, but across the road. So kind of a hunting area up here in this part of Indiana. And my friend, I love the raccoon hunts. I love going out at night and chasing the dogs through the woods. Right now, look at this, man. This is getting pretty hairy out here. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at RacerTV, on Facebook at RacerTV, and Twitter at RacerTV. And as well, We hope that you have predicted your podium position finishes today in our GNCC Racing, GNCC underscore Racing Instagram photo contest, the caption contest, and just simply go on, caption the photo, and we will be announcing a winner here shortly with $250 of AMSOIL products, their choice going to that wonderful individual out there today. The leaders due in about 4 minutes and 48 seconds, so we are now less than 5 minutes away from, I believe, would be the conclusion of this race, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to put us right at, like I said, that hour and 45-minute mark, what we had scheduled to be at about 2 hours. If we go over, if we go another lap, that fifth lap, that would put another, that would put us about 15 minutes or so over what we want to go over, or the mark we were shooting for. So that's why we're going to see this called at about the hour and 45-minute mark. But again, at that particular point, man, I think all the damage is done. I think things, even though there could be a few changes, I think everybody's satisfied that this race day has been fought. The battles have been waged, and it's time to start crowning winners and making sure that
speaking of which,
there comes Thad Duvall into the finish line region right now. Was that the finish line checkers that he got there?
Well, it looked like Ricky Towery had the white flag out.
Okay, well, maybe I was looking, maybe that white flag that I saw out there earlier. I swear I saw a white flag earlier, and I double-checked it.
Here we go.
So maybe I was seeing wrong. Maybe that wasn't Thad coming in, because according to timing and scoring, this should be him right here, but he could be a little bit faster too. So who is that? Is that him?
That's him. That is 989.
That was Thad Duvall, and that is a checker flag, and that is the X Factor GNCC, ladies and gentlemen. Thad Duvall has done it. He's won probably one of the most prestigious trophies in GNCC history. As far as a more fitting individual, I don't think anyone is going to appreciate it any more than Thad Duvall when he grabs that big old trophy down there on the pro podium. He brought a few of the greenery with him. You can see the leaves in his helmet up there as he... Obviously, these tree branches are starting to lay a little lower with the heavy mud starting to stick to them. We didn't see that so much yesterday, but today here we are starting to certainly recognize that. And, you know, we're still up in the air. We don't know what's going on. A minute and 1 second back before was Ricky Russell. And then you had Josh String turning about a 30-second faster lap than Ricky Russell, running a minute 50 behind him. If Ricky Russell slowed down much more, Josh String kept the same pace or even picked it up a little bit. And by the way, Thad just turned a 26-minute flat lap time. He bested his best lap time by about 20-some seconds there. So he got faster as the day wore on. So maybe the track is getting better in places out there. It's just getting tougher for some people in certain areas. But waiting on Ricky Russell right now. Can he hang on to it? What is going to happen with our #1 ride of Caleb Russell? Is he going to be able to work up through the pack? By the way, Trevor Bollinger, who was up to 5th at one point after going down with Caleb Russell there out of the second turn, is back to 12th place overall right now. So, wow, what a turn of events here today, Mikey. And if you just want to go ahead and head on down that way, you most certainly can. As we wrap them up, we can see that computers, our timing and scoring is giving us the lowdown on what's going on, but it looks like, I believe they tell us Josh String in second, Ricky Russell in. And that is, of course, reason I don't see that on my screen is because scoring is down there on my scoring monitor. But it is Josh String. Josh String did take second place. We're getting the word here. So something happened to Russell out there, and he does take the #3 spot. Another phenomenal ride by rough and rowdy Ricky Russell there, man. You got to pat that kid on the back. A heartbreaker for Jordan Ashburn, as he was looking to possibly see a podium position finish at one point in today's race, but finds himself dropping off to at least a 4th place position. Zach Nolan, who was leading the overall after that first lap of racing, dropped back to the #5 position overall and has since stayed there and remained there. We're not sure if he's going to gain ground on this final lap or if he's going to lose any time, but I believe that with the 2-minute and 35-second gap that he had, barring no major miscalculations or malfunctions on this last lap. I believe that we will probably see that stand the way that it is. Nolan Witkowski and Benjamin Kelly leading that, are up to a third-place position at one point and actually moving into a seventh-place position overall. So, wow, what a big turn of events. We've got more XC2 250 Pro class riders in the top 10 overall than we do have XC1. We've got more 250 Pro XC2 riders in the top 20 than we do the XC1 Open Pro class. But those riders that are in it for sure. The elite riders in each one of those classes finding their way to the top and as far forward as they can possibly go. There is that trophy we were talking about yesterday. We gave away a non-typical, was a lot different looking. This is a more typical looking rack. Look at that. I'm not sure what it actually scores, but that is it. And it is certainly going to be a prized possession among the GNCC faithful. And I know that in years to come, folks are going to be hoping to be able to pull something like that off themselves and take that home and put it on their mantle or in their trophy case as well. I'm going to go online and see if I can find timing and scoring there and get a little better idea, breakdown about what's taking place here with the top riders overall. I see Duvall, Strang, and Russell have come in 1, 2, and 3, but we wait patiently with bated breath at this time to find out how the XC2 and the rest of our field is going to shape up here. So live timing and scoring starting to pull up here. It was rather nice. I want to say thanks to the powers that be that they actually found a racetrack where we have cell service this weekend. Oh, anybody that's come to a GNCC knows all so well just exactly how true that statement is, as much as we joke about it. There used to be the joke, and I told this joke, I think maybe a couple of races ago, but we used to say that Jeff Russell used to drive around with his cell phone and drive out into the most remote places, stick his cell phone up in the air, walk around, and if he couldn't get a bar of service, then that's where we built a racetrack, a GNCC, and that's not so much the case today. Technology is catching up with him. Even in some of those places we hadn't had it in the past, we've got it now, so... Wow, folks, I tell you, what a day today, and what a weekend. The inaugural running of this, I mean, coming, if you think about the grand scheme of things and the big picture of GNCC, it is not very likely and not very often that we actually postpone or cancel anything, and we had to put our heads together and look at the bigger picture. As we were talking with Rodney Smith earlier today, you know, folks might mention, you know, well, back in the old days we would have ran, and like he said, you know, they ran in 18 inches of snow whenever they came here when the first year that he raced GNCC, and Rodney Smith says, you know, but things have changed. We're in different venues, we're in different places, more premier places that we're at that require a little more finesse, and it's not so much the racers and racetracks that we worry about in these preparations and planning and making these decisions as much too as it is the properties in which we will be visiting and what it will do to those particular areas as far as getting folks in. Got to look at the money wise that it will cost people and tearing machinery up, dragging them out. So Rodney made a lot of sense today as to why it was a great idea to postpone that race and bring it to today. Even though it was inclement this weekend, it was not as bad as it was 2 weeks ago. Great call by the powers that be, and a great call on the racing all weekend, and has made a great racetrack and afforded us some amazing competition out there at the same time. So just hats off to the track crew today, GNCC racing crew. You guys have gone above and beyond again here today. I know that your job is not done. You know, a lot of us will be done when we turn the TV off and shut things down. We'll pack our gear up. It might take 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get everything packed away and put away. But when we're getting ready to drive out the gate, those guys will still be out in the woods. Those guys will still be dragging folks in off the racetrack. Those guys will still be getting prepared to reclaim the racetrack and make it look as close to us never being here as possible. And I tell you, their job has just begun. And in certain circumstances such as this, it makes their job so much tougher and so much harder to achieve. And with only a week in between the two races this weekend and next weekend at John Penton GNCC, our GNCC trail crew is certainly going to have their work cut out for them, as they already have. When we see them again, and if you see any GNCC official or worker here, be sure and pat them on the back, tell them thanks, and know that they have done a great job this weekend, and all their effort has not been in vain, because you have enjoyed yourself here at the AMSOIL X Factor GNCC. We'll be back with podium presentations and more after this from Indiana.
Get the most protection for your vehicles and toys and the most bang for your buck with the AMSOIL Preferred Customer Program. Join today and receive up to 25% savings on AMSOIL products, exclusive product and shipping promotions, free AMSOIL gear, points on all purchases, referral rewards. Register today and take advantage of all the benefits offered by the AMSOIL Preferred Customer Program. Visit amsoil.com/PC.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATVMC, we go beyond selling parts, apparel, and accessories. We take pride in supporting the sport. We're proud to sponsor GNCC Racing and the KR4 team. It's just one more way to show our dedication for the fans and riders of this great sport. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
And welcome back to GNCC Live here in Peru, Indiana. Rodney Tomlin along with Mikey Waynes. And, of course, he has made his way down to the X Factor and AMSOIL GNCC podium as we get ready to celebrate the first win of 2017 by Thad Duvall. And if you think about it, Thad is the only racer on the podium today that has been on the podium all season long. Ricky Russell, well, he's been on it all season. Ricky Russell, I think, maybe hit the podium, and Josh Strang welcoming him back to the front echelon of the pack as well. So we take a look at those AMSOIL X Factor results from RockyMountainATVMC.com. How about it for Jordan Ashburn as he will finish fourth? Zach Nolan, an amazing ride by that XC2 250 Pro Class rider today as he took the whole shot, picked himself up an extra $100, and was leading the overall at one point, and he finished up 5th place overall today. These results, again, are not final. They are, by the way, unofficial. The official results to be posted soon. And actually, I just got a thing that says Zach Nolan. That's how unofficial they are. Zach Nolan 2nd overall. So basically, we're going to be waiting. I got Jason Thomas all the way up to 4th overall, but that's not the case. We had some issues with timing and scoring. They're going to go back and adjust that, and we'll know for sure if you're watching at home online the timing and scoring aspect of it. But regardless, folks, man, what a great race, great day. Thad Duvall, as we said, in the with the win out there. Here's some highlights from today's race as we started this one out. Of course, we saw that Ricky Russell had gotten off to the early lead, and he and Thad Duvall basically went into a mode of what we would call checkout from that point on, and all the while, everybody else back behind those riders seemed to try to get it all sorted out. And actually, I believe we've seen Ryan Sipes. I think it might have been Sipes that was out front early on because he got around your early whole shot award winner there, the 212 of Ricky Russell, and Sipes is out. And I do not know what happened to Sipes today as far as where he is going to finish. I know that he was running 10th place in the class last time we seen him go by, which put him well outside the top 20 overall, unfortunately for him in points today. Also, Stu Baylor, big news in today's race. You may not have seen a lot of him as riders basically finding themselves all one color. There's the XC2 250 Pro Class going through there. Lane Michael buried back in the pack, had moved close to the front of the pack, and now finds himself back again as the day near ends. As you can see, the race only seemed to get a little bit tougher and more struggles as road crossings became treacherous and nearly, wouldn't say impassable, but it had to be a mindset that you were using your head and very careful going through those sections of the racetrack. But as the day wore on, Ricky Russell continued to stretch things out, but Thad Duvall latched on and became a shadow to the number 212. and eventually was able to pass him and best him here at the finish line. So it will be Ricky Russell or Josh Strang and then Ricky Russell in the second and third place positions, as Russell finding some sort of issues on the final lap of racing. Had a 1 and 1 second gap after problems prior to that, and then whatever it was must have plagued him throughout that final lap, because it took him back to the number 3 position whenever the checkers finally flew. There we see the number 1. That is Becca Sheets. She was part of the action today, as we had C and all of our morning class riders racing with us today. Speaking of WXC class, we did have a chance to check in with them a few moments ago, and after 2 laps of racing completed, is Gudish out of Terre Haute, Indiana, with Tricker in second, about 4.5 minutes back, and Becca Sheets in third, about 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Those are the only 3 ladies that were able to traverse the trail and make at least 1 lap of racing. Going to make them strong and give them some confidence, I think, heading into Ohio next week. I'm not sure what conditions are going to be like. I know, living in Ohio, talking to the folks at home that are all from an hour or so from there, we've seen rain on and off, but overall the soils are in good shape, and it should be dry depending on this week and obviously next weekend's forecast. Saying welcome to Brogan Geyer from the world of ATV motocross racing, as he's out watching today. A hometown boy, this is his hometown, and he decided to come over and watch a little X Factor GNCC. How come you weren't out there? Too much for you, huh? Yeah, yesterday. Oh, were you out there? How'd you do? Oh, so you broke, but you rode. That's a good thing out there. So Brogan Geyer racing yesterday in the ATV racing from right here in Peru. Right now we are watching as we finish this one up. Remind folks to follow us on Instagram at GNCC_racing, on Twitter at GNCC Racing as well. Facebook /GNCC Racing. So be sure to check that out and be a part of all the fun and all the action. Keep up to date with all the social media posts. A lot of our announcements come through that way and gives you a heads up what to be looking for and waiting for. So be sure and follow along as well at RacerTV on Instagram, Facebook, and as well on Twitter. Right now we are getting things set up for our podium presentations. Just after 3 o'clock here on a Sunday afternoon. And wow, what a day. Look at that, folks still having problems just making it through the finish line. I have to tend to think that had this race gone on for another hour or even another lap as far as that goes, that yeah, this wouldn't have been a pretty picture. And even though it's not now, it would have gotten a lot worse, I believe. So great call by the race operators. 1 hour and 41 minutes and 12 seconds. Josh Strang finishing second. 1 hour and 41 minutes and 41 seconds. And not real sure how long it took our 3rd place finisher to finish up out there, but regardless, Ricky Russell is 3rd. He was just behind Josh Strang from what I understand. Coming up on RacerTV.com, be sure and tune us in on RacerTV.com as well as MAV TV, and of course also on NBC Sports. As far as GNCC is concerned, May 27th, next Saturday, RacerTV.com will be live at the John Penton GNCC. That's the Weisco John Penton GNCC. That'll be at 1 o'clock. Then we'll take a quick break after 2 hours of racing and podium presentations, reset things, and be back for our 4 o'clock broadcast, where we will see the UTVs racing on Saturday, John Penton Pro UTV. And then Sunday, May 28th, we will see at 1 o'clock GNCC Live, John Penton Pro Bike Race. And also Sunday, next Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on NBC Sports, Round 3, the Maxxis Cannonball GNCC will air on NBC Sports. So be sure and check that out. You may be able to watch it on your way home even. Sunday, May 28th, again, for that NBC Sports Network. And then Wednesday, May 31st, which would be the following Wednesday, at 4:30 NBC Sports, a repeat of Round 3's Maxxis Cannonball GNCC. So set your DVRs, if you will, on NBC Sports. And be sure and log in with us next weekend for the Wiseco John Penton GNCC, one of the oldest standing GNCCs on the schedule. Again, folks, a thanks to our friends here at X Factor for opening up this property. And I will tell you that there was a lot of second guessing going on after Thursday's rains and Friday, and folks started rolling in, and Saturday. But I think he's starting to soften up to the idea after seeing the intense battles that he has seen. And I'll tell you one thing, if never we come back to race GNCC, I'm going to try my darndest to come back and do some hunting over here, because, man, just beautiful, beautiful creatures that they've got here in Indiana. Mikey Wayne setting things up down at the Maxis Victory Lane as we'll celebrate with our top 3 overall, as well as our top 3 XC2 class riders, I believe. And heck, I think we've got XC3 to do, and we will likely be doing the WXC, the women's cross country, also, seeing how we will not be doing WXC live, they tell me, but all the rest of them will be live on RacerTV.com.
We're doing XC1, XC2, and XC3.
Right. So, like we said, oh, Flash, you're killing me, man. All right, waiting down here. I need to know, how far are we good to go on podium? Are we about ready to go down there, Flash? Is things coming together? Okay. So, again, we just wait, and we are going to get some official results posted up for you, knowing what's going on here in just a couple moments. But, again, I think it's Duval, Strang, Russell. We're looking for Ricky Russell at the podium right now, so wherever Ricky Russell happens to be, by the way, finished only 1.1 second. Well, I don't know for sure what the official time is going to be, but simulated calculation. But Ricky Russell finishing 3rd. Let's see where right now, again, unofficially, where folks are going and where they're at. Unofficially right now, it scores Caleb Russell at 14th place overall. It's going to really, it's going to help Thad Duval out quite a bit. He's going to gain several points. It's obviously not going to knock Russell off the top spot, but it's certainly at the midway swing of this series is going to be a lot better looking than going in with another 5 to 8 points lost heading into round 7 through 13. So waiting on Ricky Russell down at the podium. I don't know whether he was having an issue and needed to go back to the pits, whether he didn't know that he'd actually finished 3rd place overall, or what the case may be. But as soon as he gets there, Mikey will pop in with us and let us know what's going on down there. Folks, don't forget to stop down and see Beck's Concessions. Also, I believe they're still set up down there and serving up the grub for you today. Good to see them back with us again. They traveled to various different locations across the GNCC Racing Nation with us.
Do you know what the results are right now, overall?
Well, if what I'm looking at is proper, yes, I do, Flash. I've got Duval, Strang, Russell, Bach, and Ashburn as your top 5 overall right now, with Zach Nolan in 6th, Mike Witkowski in 7th, FMF XC3 class winner Jason Thomas in 8th, Craig DeLong in 9th, and 10th place Josh Toth, who will suffer his first defeat today. He'd been finishing up in the 1st place position at all the rounds so far. Even when it looked its bleakest for that rider, he's been able to pull it out, and valuable championship points were salvaged today with a solid, strong finish here in Indiana in the mud. Again, back to hopefully normal next weekend when we roll into the John Penton GNCC. So right now, watching some of the antics. Here's what the aftermath of this particular race at the X Factor GNCC is looking like. We're just going to take a moment and just watch some of this unfold before our eyes. And look at old Speedy out there from Teely Energy helping out. Well, he's offering some moral support anyway. Let's see, he will lift that front tire. They need Mama Russell over there is what they need. Tina, your assistance is needed to help get these guys unstuck out there. Mercy. That feller has got himself a lot of work to work himself out of. Mud really starting to get thicker as the day progresses out here. The line's getting deeper. And as you can see, tougher to traverse. So again, we wait right now and just enjoy the beauty of the X Factor GNCC. I think he might have actually gotten that bike unstuck there without the assistance of Mama Russell. All he needed was for her to come over and look at him, and that bike would have come out. We saw it happen right there just a little bit ago. It's like she willed that motorcycle to come out of that thing for him and made him will it to do it at the same time. And I'll tell you, folks, the will of these riders out here on this racetrack today, unbelievable. Thad Duvall, what seemed to be a patient race day today, never seemed to really push the envelope, never seemed to be overexcited. You know, I think he was keeping in check what was going on behind him. No pressure from Caleb Russell, which allowed him the opportunity to do what he wanted to do it when he wanted to do it, rather than be in forced situations. And the outcome is that Thad Duvall takes his first win of 2017, and the coolest trophy as well, I think, probably in the history. Well, maybe since Blackwater. They had some pretty cool stuff in Blackwater too. But regardless, friends, it has been a great day here in GNCC Racing, and though we end up having to combine the morning class with the afternoon class, it has certainly been, I think, worth it and really exciting for sure. And I'm excited as we get set to roll down to the podium here, and Mikey Wayne standing by at Max's Victory Lane.
Well, thank you, Rodney Tomlin. Down here at Max's Victory Lane, and the celebration is on. Indiana, give it up for your top three today out of the XC1 Pro class. That was an impressive one, man. I'm going to get things started here. Ricky Russell, man, how you doing?
Good. It was a good day for what it was.
For what it was is exactly right, man. Did you have to get a breather after this one? Oh, I almost forgot. I'm going to thank you. You're also our whole shot winner, man. So talk a little bit about us. You're going home $250 richer from All Balls Racing, man. Talk us, wee doggy. Might have to get one of those antlers. Hold it up, right? So talk to us, man. Great start for you. And this was a tough one. I mean, just watching you guys out there, we could barely tell you guys apart.
Yeah, I had an awesome start, and me and Thad were just riding together. I think we had some good lines, just getting around the track pretty well, and I was told I had a pretty good lead, or we had a pretty good lead on third, and I was feeling good, just trying to get around the track the best I could, and with the conditions we were served. And Thad got away from me about 1 to go, and he pulled pretty good, and I thought I had second under control, and came out of the woods and was told string was right there, and I gave it my all and messed up a little bit in the field section. He got around me, and it was just getting blasted with roost. Unfortunately, it was half mile from the finish, but I'll take a podium. We're improving every weekend, so can't complain.
You're going to carry this momentum into next week heading into Ohio?
Yeah, definitely. Ohio last year was good to me. I had that was my first good placing in XC1 last year. So we're improving sooner and doing better, getting more comfortable with the bike, and everything's working out good. The team's awesome.
Great work, man. Who are your sponsors you want to give a shout out to today?
I got to thank my mechanic, Lucas. He freaking works his butt off. The whole team, Corey, Blue, they're working constantly. I mean, setting up in this crap sucked this week. My mom and dad back home, my girlfriend for supporting me. everyone, NFAB and Pro Yamaha, they're all awesome. FMF, Kenda Tires, Carb Sport, X-Brand goggles, they're huge help, new for me this year. The roll-offs are working great today. Shoei helmets, MSR gear, and just all you guys out there cheering us on. I mean, I don't think anyone's real clean out there, so it was good. Thanks you.
There we go, everybody. Ricky Russell. All right. Coming on down here, man. Mr. Josh Strang. Woo! Josh, you got a few fans out there, brother.
Yeah, just the Husky girls there, so no, it's good.
The Husky girls. Now that, for those that don't know, maybe just tuning in, that does mean Husqvarna.
Yeah, Husqvarna, yeah.
So, man, talk to us. Second place finish. You feel pretty good about today's race. I mean, this was a tough one.
Yeah, it was difficult. It was the grass track actually towards the end of the race with the sun coming out was not so bad, but the woods got so gnarly. I don't know, is that all that soft? Some of it was really soft, but it just got really wide. So you had to pick a line that was the shortest in distance and the shallowest in depth. So you had to remember your lines every lap and try and get to the same spots and just try and stay smooth and not get stuck. There's a lot of down trees and logs there, so you're always trying to get over those and just try and keep your momentum. So it was a fun day, man. It was the mud race. Anything can happen. You saw yesterday. Thad's been riding well today, so he expected him to be up front. But I'm happy to be up here on the podium. I just want to keep doing it again from now on.
What kind of momentum does this carry into next round with John Penton coming up right here this next weekend?
It should be good. Like I said, this race is something, anything can happen here, but I felt good. I didn't make any mistakes, and I felt like I rode a normal mud race like I can, and I feel like this is where I should be at from when I started riding, just a few injuries and that sort of stuff. But I think next weekend should be good. We got just a short week, so we'll drive home, get ready, then come back up, and I'll spend a couple of days at Thad's riding, I think, and then we'll get ready. So we'll see. I mean, Sunday's a long way away. I'm not sure what the weather's going to do, but we'll just take it as it comes.
Great work, man. Love seeing you up here. Who are your sponsors you want to thank out there today?
Rockstar Energy, Husqvarna Factory Racing. Those guys stuck behind me these first 6 months through this injury, and get a podium for them, especially with Thad and I won too. I'm sure they can't be happier. So my wife Cameron, Dave, Tanner, Timmy, Blue, roosted Blue's truck there, one of the pit stops, so I don't think he's real happy. But everyone else, the people that came out and were in the woods, man, I probably would have stayed home and watched it on TV, but they toughed it out here in Indiana, and it was just a good day. It ended up being nice weather. Unfortunately, it wasn't like that on Friday and Saturday.
All right, great work. Everyone give it up for second place finisher today, Josh Strang. Thad Duvall. When we first knew we were coming here and we saw this trophy, everyone had the same thought. Okay, Thad's going to win this one. This has got Thad's name written all over it.
Yeah, I think there was more pressure to win this race for me than I think I've ever had in my entire life. Anytime anybody or GNCC would put it on Instagram or Facebook, it was 39.99, 39.89. So I felt like I had a lot of pressure. And, you know, when I first saw this trophy, I told myself, I'm winning that trophy. I don't care what it's going to take. And, you know, I kept telling myself before the race, just go out and finish, don't worry about it, worry about winning. And, you know, I put myself in the right place at the right time. And, you know, Ricky was riding really good at the beginning of the race. I just kind of keyed off him a little bit and let him find all the deep ruts. So I knew I had it in me to win, and man, it feels good to win. I wish it was straight up in the dry, but a win's a win for sure. And, you know, it's been a good last couple weeks. I've been clicking off the wins and on a lot of different series. So, you know, to get this one is good. So just carry it on to the John Penton. You know, keep an eye on the weather there. It looks pretty gnarly there next weekend. So just hoping for the best. And, man, I think I'm more excited about the trophy than the win.
I'm not surprised by that at all, man. Well, big congratulations to you. We're doggone excited. I'm going to let you celebrate in a second. First, who are the sponsors you want to thank?
Rockstar Energy, Husqvarna Factory Racing, Fly, Pro Taper, Dunlop Tires today, man. They worked awesome. Leon at WP for getting my bike, awesome. FMF, Tanner, my mechanic, Timmy, my boss, my mom, my dad. You know, my dad's out there. It's kind of cool to see him out on the track pointing me lines this year. And you know, my wife, she's telling me about working pretty hard. She don't let me slack anymore, so she wants it just as bad as I do. So it's nice waking up in the mornings. And are you at the gym? Are you at the gym yet? So it's good. Yeah, and just like Strang said, there was so many guys out there pointing lines. You know, the fans were crazy every time I passed them. And, you know, I want to give a big shout out to a lot of the riders that were just stopped on the track helping too. And, you know, it's I've been there and have crappy days like that. And that's the least thing you want to do is help other riders. But there was a lot of guys out there helping. And, you know, the last lap was just chaos. There was so many places to go. You just had to be careful. And, you know, it was a great day. It was awesome for sure. And I want to give it up to the X Factor Whitetail guys for letting us come here and just ruin the piece of property. It sucks, but you know, I had an awesome weekend, and you know, it was really enjoyable. I felt like I was just right at home, and you know, to click off a win's even better.
There you go, race fans. That is Thantable. That, I know you want to grab that trophy. So that is all yours, brother. And then we'll get underway with the champagne showers. Might add, too, the folks here out of X Factor hooked up second and third place today with their own rack as well. So pretty awesome stuff down here on the podium.
Well, that's going to wrap up our XC1 Pro Class podium as we continue to watch some antics here at the finish line and see how deep that finish line rut has become there right at the finish line itself. It is becoming not impassable, but certainly very challenging for riders to get through as they just ease their way through that section of the track. And at this point, a lot of riders just happy to complete their laps of racing out there. And listening to the stories out there, it was certainly a war of attrition and using your head today, no doubt about that. We've got XC2 Pro, 250 Pro Class podium, as well as our FMF XC3 125 Pro Lights podium coming up, or Pro-Am podium, I should say, coming up as well. So stick around. GNCC Live will continue after this.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of dirt bike lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
As riders and racers, we understand the need to get quality parts, apparel, and accessories fast. We have the horsepower of multiple warehouses to make sure your gear, OEM parts, or accessories make it to your door quickly. Check out our easy-to-use website and experience customer service that takes the whole shot. RockyMountain8VMC.com. Get ready.
Are you looking for a dirt bike piston that can increase power and decrease blow-by? Then check out Wiseco's all-new Racer Elite piston line. Racer Elite has been used exclusively by the pros, including RCH, Yoshimura, Suzuki Factory Racing, and are now accessible to the public. Available for popular 250 and 450cc dirt bikes, the Racer Elite series is the first off-the-shelf asymmetrical power sports piston ever made. Its fully machined billet aluminum construction features an exclusive custom lap top ring. Step up with dyno-proven power gains with Wiseco's Racer Elite piston line.
And welcome back to GNCC Live here from Peru, Indiana, and the AMSOIL X Factor GNCC, where we have done it. We have wrapped up our inaugural running despite Mother Nature and the conditions that were thrown at us here over the course of the last few weeks and throughout the course of this weekend as well. And, of course, round 6, beginning the midway swing of the 2017 championship season. Thad Duvall taking the win today. Josh Strang in second. Ricky Russell rounding out the top 3. And, again, the big news is Caleb Russell having his struggles. According to timing and scoring right now, unless something is wrong with timing and scoring, which I have been told that things are unofficial on timing and scoring right now, but looks like Caleb Russell may be looking at a 14th overall place position finish. He does score some points today and will maintain a very comfortable points lead as Stu Baylor, out after the first lap of racing, was on lap number 2, suffering from some stomach ailments and not able to proceed, and actually had to cut his race short. So he had about a 27-point deficit or so between he and Caleb Russell for the points lead. Nothing lost there in that particular one. However, I believe this will move, if I'm calculating this properly, it should move with Stu Baylor not gaining any points. 30 points on the 96 will give 126 points, and that'll bring it down to a 19-point race and championship battle between Caleb Russell and Thad Duvall heading into the second half of the season. Round 7 will be our midway point, and I'm telling you, folks, it's only starting to heat up, and it's only going to get better. Let's go down to the podium right now and talk about the better things that took place with these guys live at the Maxxis Victory Lane.
Well, thank you, Rodney Tomlin. Peru, Indiana, X Factor. Give it up for the top 3 out of the XC2. All right, so talk to us, man. Craig DeLong, you guys, this has just been a competitive season, to say the least, man.
Oh, yeah, it's every race you come to, you know it's going to be tough, so you got to bring your A game.
So what's the mindset coming into a race like this, man? You know you're going to be battling the elements. You've got the added classes out there.
Yeah, especially, you know, today with all the mud and the other people, you just finish. You know, that's the biggest thing. If you don't finish, you're not going to get any points. So that's the biggest thing. Make sure your bike, you know, doesn't have a problem. So, I mean, we did that. We finished, and we salvaged some good points, so it was a good day.
Good work, man. Well, who are your sponsors you want to give a shout-out to out there?
I got to thank the whole Coastal team, Husqvarna, Bel-Ray, Answer Gear, FMF, Maxxis Tires, TMD, DP Brakes, Evans Coolant, Twin Air, Chirby's, Mica Handlebars, VP Gas, 343 Graphics, 100% Goggles, Bell Helmets. Everyone else, thank you.
There we go, everybody. Give it up for Craig DeLong. There we go. Got the earpiece back in. Mike Wachowski, man, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm definitely happy to be up here. It was a long, long day.
It was, yeah, absolutely, man. We're pulling for you out there. I talked to Michaela prior to the race. I said, Mike, gonna be on the podium? She said, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was tough. I actually raced in OMA National yesterday. It was muddy as well, but it was definitely good practice for today. So I knew today would be tough. It'd be more like a trail ride than a race, so we kind of approached it like that, and we ended up here on the box, which was good, and definitely happy to be up here.
So what, I mean, does this give you some momentum heading into John Penton next weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always do good at the Penton anyways. I mean, last year I got third last year, so it was good. I always like that track, even if it's sloppy or dry or whatever. So I'm looking forward to that, and the rest of the season, really, I think I should do good.
Well, good to see you up here, brother. I know we're going to see you again. Who are your sponsors you want to thank out there?
First of all, my whole family, my girlfriend, everyone out there pointing me lines. It's so hard out there to do it by yourself, so definitely a big thanks to them first, and then RPM, KTM, Maxxis, HBD, FMF, St. Lawrence Radiology, Just One Helmets, and Maxxis, KTM, everyone. Thank you so much.
There we go, everybody. Mike Wachowski, second place finisher today. All right, and first place finisher, Whole Shot Award winner, Zach Nolan. Ooh, they're losing their minds, brother. Well, hey, you're going home $100 richer from Hot Cams thanks to the Whole Shot. And the victory today, you led this one for a little while with the time adjustment.
Yeah, it turned out to be a pretty good day. I've been praying for some mud. I don't know if we quite needed this much, but I enjoyed it, and I got a really good start. I was nervous about my starting spot, but I got into the woods first, and I think Lane was right behind me. He was pushing me there for a good while, and I wanted to let him around because I was starting to make mistakes because he was putting pressure on me, and I knew if I'd let him around, then I would, I'd use all my tear-offs, and I'd be out of goggles, and then I'd be falling behind and behind and behind. So I just kept pushing and started pulling a little bit of a gap on my class, and then I run into a lot of the XC1 guys. Some of them stuck, some of them picking it back up, or and I just picked smart lines all day and kept my head down and kept charging and tried to keep it on 2 wheels.
Oh man, this one paid off for you. Is this going to be an indication of what we're seeing from Zach DeLong the rest of this season?
You mean Craig?
Sorry. Woo. Try that again. Is this going to be an indication of what we're going to see later? It's not like it's live or anything, right?
I'm just going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep training and keep working here and see what we can do. I hope to be up here a lot more.
All right, man. Well, big congratulations to you. Who are the sponsors and people you want to thank out there today?
I'd like to thank my mom, dad, my brother. My girlfriend ain't here right now. Teely Energy, Todd Ely for everything he does for me and for the whole race team. All of the Teely Energy race crew, fans, pointing lines, helping me out. I mean, just anyone and everyone out there. I want to thank Bill Daly at Outlaw Motorsports. Factory Connections on the bike, it's doing good this year. And Red, my mechanic, I want to give him a thanks for getting the bike, making sure it's good to go. My brother for working on it. My trainer Nate for keeping me in shape, trying to get me in better shape because it takes a lot to do this. And anybody else that I forgot.
There we go, man. Everybody give it up for first place finisher, Zach Nolan. Great work, fellas. So that's going to do it here. As we get ready to pop the champagne showers, the cameras duck, and the people duck, and the spoils of victory there. That's a good day. That is going to do it for the XC2. Coming up next, going to be the podium interviews for the FMF XC3 class.
That's right, Mikey. And right now, as we continue and wrap up our celebrations down at Max's Victory Lane here for the XC2. Congratulations, Zach Nolan. Outstanding performance yet again. And good to see that things are certainly swinging in your favor here at the Midway Swing, and obviously all the hard work is paying off. Zach's one of those guys, man, he'll work a 40-50 hour week at his normal job, and then he will of course come out here and go racing on the weekend. So keep it up, buddy. And we got more to come. FMF XC3 125 Pro-Am podium coming up next. Jason Thomas, Mark Horesco, and old DQ himself, David Quillen, coming to the podium right after this.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of dirt bike lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
If you believe life starts where the blacktop ends, if the power of an engine makes your heart race, don't settle for anything less than Polaris RZR, the ultimate off-road vehicle. With unequaled power, unrivaled suspension, and unmatched agility, all perfectly combined to help you chase down what matters most. Polaris RZR, we fuel your freedom. And now's the time to get up to $2,000 cash back during the Polaris Spring Sales Event.
And welcome back to GNCC Live from Peru, Indiana, and the inaugural running of the AMSOIL X Factor GNCC. Round 6 of this 13-round championship as we begin our 3-round championship swing here through 6, 7, and 8. And, of course, the halfway point of this battle and these championships certainly setting the stage for a great second half of the year, no doubt about it. And one of the guys leading the way is one of the guys down on the podium with us here today. Actually, all the guys down on the podium helping leading the way in this one as we go down for our XC3 125 Pro-Am class podium.
Well, thank you, Rodney. I am down here with the FMF XC3 guys. Can we give it up for the top 3 out of the FMF XC3? I'm going to come over here on this side, man. This guy, I don't think I've seen you in quite a while. DQ, David Quellen, but we all know you as DQ.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling to be up here. I mean, I was Thad's mechanic last year, so we made a few trips up here, but when I stopped doing that, I didn't really figure I'd be back up here again, so this is pretty cool.
Does it feel good to be back up here, the guy that's on the bike this time?
Yeah, it's real cool. I never figured I'd get to experience this. It's pretty awesome.
All right, man. What can we do to get you to race John Penton next weekend?
Someone's going to need to supply me with a lot of parts.
A lot of parts, Bo. Do you know a guy?
I know a few people. Yeah, we might be able to pull that off.
All right, man. Well, talk to me about this race, man. This was a mudder. This was kind of, racing within your own helmet. Walk us through this one.
Well, everybody I always want to run mud races. I haven't really raced at GNCC since the Mammoth a few years ago that everybody still talks about. And I'm like, man, the weather conditions are looking good. I might break out the trials boots and see what happens. And it was as rough as we expected. Great track, really. I mean, not really no bottlenecks or anything. I mean, there was deep ruts and everything, but it was really, you could flow through it pretty good, and it was fun.
Well, man, awesome to see you out here. Who are your sponsors and folks you want to give a shout out to?
First, I'd like to thank the shop where I work at, Spikes KTM. They let me use a bike for the year, and it worked pretty awesome today. The Grounds family, they always help me out with whatever I need and make things happen. Fly Racing for hooking me up with a set of gear, and just all the other people that have helped me out over the years.
There we go, everybody. Third place finisher today, DQ. All right, over here with second place finisher. I'm gonna get your name right this time. Mark Horesco. How you doing, man?
Good. It was a good day. Mud, fun. Knew there was a chance to maybe even get a win. So just kept my head down, pushed, and knew what I had to do, and got it done.
I mean, what's a mindset going into a race like this? You know you're going to have to battle the mud. Then you've got the added element of the additional classes out there with you today.
Yeah, well, on a 125, it's a whole nother game as well. So that's most of my thoughts are keeping the bike together, not doing nothing stupid. If you could get through this race without having to stop or turn around or get off your bike, you're going to do good. So just keep your head up and know where you're going and think smart.
Well, great work, man. Who are your sponsors and folks you'd like to thank today?
My dad, for sure. He's here all the time with me. Big shout out to Team SRT, SRT Off-Road, 509 Goggles, Motul USA, Kenda Tires, IMS Tanks, O'Neill Gear, Shoei Helmets, Hammer Nutrition, Recluse Clutches, TM Design Works, Moto Seat, Shirai Batteries, Motivation Suspension, Bentley's KTM, tons of guys out there doing stuff, HPD Graphics, couldn't thank them all enough. Team SRT, big time. Thank you.
There we go, everybody. Mark Horesco taking second place today. All right, man. Jason Thomas, how you been? Last time I saw you were here center of the box.
Yeah, it's nice to go 2 in a row. It's I don't know, it's disappointing that Jack's hurt and back in the UK, but it's still a win's a win. It was difficult today, and yeah, it was fun.
I mean, this one was yours start to finish today. You like races like this? Is this kind of not your thing? How you feel about these?
No, yeah, I mean, these are my conditions for sure. I've been waiting for a mud race for a long time, it seems, and this one was postponed when it rained, and I don't know, I was kind of down about that. Don't like to see that, and then yeah, sure enough, it monsooned on us again. So I got my wish, and yeah, it was fun. It was nice to get up in the overall, and I'm not sure what I ended up finishing, but I made a mistake there on the last lap when I was up with them guys. So hopefully I didn't drop too far back, because it'd be nice to get a top 10 on the little bike, but. Yeah, all in all, I got done what I needed to get done, and should be leading the points now, I think, in this championship. So, that's the most important thing.
Well, great job, man. I know we're going to see you doing similar things next weekend at John Penton. Who are your sponsors you want to thank out there today?
Yeah, I got to thank Palmer Motorsports, Max's Tires, Moose Clothing, 100% Goggles, IMS Tanks,
TM Designs, P3, Carb Sport. I got to say hello to my niece. She's watching on TV back home with my mom. So hello to them too. They've been pestering me this week to give them a mention. So thanks to them. Thanks to Duel for helping me out. Yeah, we drove all the way to Missouri yesterday to do the OMA, and I was able to come away from that with the overall. So back-to-back wins, and yeah, Duel helped me drive there. So thanks to him and pitting today. The Costas, and yeah, just everyone for supporting me. Thank you.
There we go, everybody. First place finisher out of the FMF XC3, Jason Thomas. Jason Thomas up here giving the instructions to DQ. He said, what's next? He said, all right, let's do this first. And then Jason Thomas going to be popping some bottles. But that is going to do it down here for the FMF XC3.
All righty, congratulations to you, Jason. If I think right, I think you may have scored an 8th place overall today, man. So congratulations on putting that little bike into the top 10 today. And, of course, congratulations to one and all on making it through this day. Those that were there and those that are here with us today. Even if you weren't on the track racing, you had yourself a heck of a battle here in the pits, no doubt. As Jason wraps up his celebrations, the spoils of victory, if you will. And of course, with that, we're going to wrap things up here on RacerTV.com, and we'll be back next Saturday around 1 o'clock. Don't forget, we've got 1 and 4 o'clock with motorcycle or ATVs and then UTVs, and then on Sunday with motorcycles, and also next Sunday evening, I think around 5 o'clock on NBC Sports, we'll have more GNCC for you to be able to go back and check out from the Cannonball GNCC. But nonetheless, stay tuned to GNCCRacing.com and RacerTV.com for the upcoming things that are going to be taking place here in the GNCC Racing Nation. And on behalf of everyone here at Racer Productions and, of course, at RacerTV.com, my co-host, Mr. Mikey Waynes, I'm Rodney Tomlin. Good day, everybody.